My wife is a CEO, but she goes bankrupt now. Everyone assumes I'll take the money and run. After all, I'm good looking, and all I've ever cared about is money. Every day I've been spending her cash. Eating well, playing hard, living large. However, I actually want to stick around and help her make a comeback. Because when she does bounce back, even the spare change slipping through her fingers could set me up for life. But who could have guessed that the bankruptcy is fake? When I transmigrate into this novel, it's already the final chapter. The stunning CEO I'm now married to is the villainess, who is already defeated by the heroine. I still remember the last lines ever written about her. The only things Claire White has left are her husband lying in that bedroom, and her collection of expensive watches and clothes. But even Claire knows, the man who has never paid her any attention except to ask for money, will soon walk out with her watches and her wardrobe, leaving her with absolutely nothing. I rub my temples, think about my newly bankrupt wife, and let out a long, quiet sigh. Claire has actually treated me pretty well since we got married. Now that she's hit rock bottom, I can't quite bring myself to grab the cash and disappear. The least I can do is wait until she has her own income again, or at least some kind of footing. After sorting through my thoughts for a bit, I get up and start tackling the disaster zone we call home. It takes a full 3 hours. I finally manage to stuff everything into one corner of my room. The pile is impressive. Over 100 watches and more than 80 outfits. Right now I'd give anything to swap the clothes for more watches, just because watches are just so much easier to sell. I wake up at 2 in the afternoon, my stomach growling. I flip open the wallet on the coffee table. Just as expected, I find my ID card, bank card, and 700 yuan. As for the kitchen, I haven't set foot in it. We only just moved in, and neither of us is the cooking type, so there's nothing in there. I need to find food on my own. Luckily, the apartment Claire rented is small but well located. There's a whole row of restaurants right downstairs. I stroll down and grab a bowl of noodles. Thinking about the nearly empty bathroom cabinet I spotted earlier, I swing by the supermarket, and I come back hauling a bag full of daily essentials. I pick up a set for Claire too. The colors, the styles, all chosen based on what I remember her preferring. Then I start cleaning, pushing open the door and stepping into Claire's room. Apart from a few things on the bookshelf and desk, all that's in there is a bed and the bare necessities. I sigh helplessly. It's a lot to ask of a woman raised like royalty, to put up with a life like this. I look around and get to work. Time ticks by, and by the time the whole house is sorted, it's 10 o'clock at night. I wash up, set out some late-night snacks on the coffee table, and get ready to dig in. Just as I tear open the packaging and bring the first bite to my mouth, the front door opens. I look up and meet a pair of eyes as clear and still as autumn water. The woman in the doorway watches me, expression unreadable. As she pulls her gaze away, it sweeps across the room, and a flicker of surprise crosses her face. Her eyes come back to me, and I take a good look at her at the same moment. She is stunning, every bit worthy of the author's most extravagant praise. Under Claire's gaze, I unconsciously tighten my grip on my chopsticks, feeling a nervousness I can't quite explain. After all, I'm an imposter. Would someone like Claire really fail to notice that something is off about her own husband? Those eyes of hers make me feel like nothing in the world could hide from them. Did you hire a cleaner? Was there enough money? Her tone is flat with a trace of scrutiny. I shake my head without thinking. No, I did it myself. You did it yourself? Claire stares at me, clearly taken aback. We hold each other's gaze for a moment. She looks away first. Do you have enough money? It's enough. What about you? I ask without thinking. The words are barely out before I regret them. That question makes Claire look over at me again, surprised. Then she says quietly, enough. After that, we both fall silent. Claire glances at the food I'm eating on the table. Then she suddenly says, I'm sorry. I don't follow at first. I look up, trace her gaze, and quickly shake my head. No, you have nothing to apologize for. Claire steps over, sits on the other end of the sofa, and chooses her words carefully. The assets have mostly been dealt with. Everything in my name has been transferred away. There's nothing left, but there are no debts either, so you don't need to worry about that. I still have 30,000 yuan on hand. Once things are settled, I'll start earning again as soon as I can. You should have 60,000 on your card. I've already paid 6 months rent on this place. If you want a divorce, I'll give you another 20,000. You're welcome to stay here until you find somewhere else. I know exactly what this means. Claire's done more than enough for me. Our total assets come to 90,000 yuan. She's willing to hand over 80% of it to me and let me stay in the apartment. Moreover, she'd never take back the watches and clothes either. That would leave her with 1 room and 10,000 yuan. Seeing I say nothing, Claire adds, in the future, I'll set aside a portion of whatever I earn each month, at least 3,000. I can't promise more right now because I don't know what's ahead, but if I get a chance to make a comeback, I'll make it up to you. I immediately shake my head. Claire goes quiet when she sees me refuse. I realize my reaction might have given the wrong impression. I quickly explain, no, I don't want a divorce, and I don't need your money. I've got enough to get by. I've made my peace with where things stand. I'll cut back on spending and I'll earn my own money. So you don't put so much pressure on yourself. An ordinary household doesn't cost that much to run. You don't want a divorce? Claire looks at me. But yesterday you said, then it hits me. Yesterday, apparently I said some very angry things. I did call her useless and say I wanted a divorce. My expression stiffens and I try to explain. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. I've thought it through and I can't divorce you at a time like this. We're married and I intend to pull my weight. Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. I might even be able to take care of you. As soon as I speak, the look Claire gives me gets even stranger, but she doesn't push it. If you don't want a divorce, then forget it. Whenever you change your mind, just say the word. Claire gets up and heads to the bathroom. I duck my head and awkwardly keep eating. I hear her footsteps pause just inside the bathroom door for a few seconds. She must have noticed how different it looks from before. Then the sound of running water starts. By the time I finish eating, Claire is done in the bathroom. There's none of the awkwardness I expected. Thank you, get some rest. I run a hand through my hair, feeling like I'm in a dream. I sort through my thoughts one more time, then head to the bathroom. Back in my room, I open my laptop and set up a personal shop on a resale platform. Then I close the laptop and go to sleep. The next morning, I wake up out of habit at 6:30. I gather the ingredients I bought yesterday, get the porridge going, then head downstairs to grab steamed buns and fried dough sticks. When I get back, Claire is just stepping out of her room. She hears the door open and looks up to see the food in my hands. She automatically rubs her eyes, as if she can't quite believe what she's seeing. Good morning. I picked up some breakfast, and there's porridge on the stove too. Go wash up, it'll be ready by the time you're done. I head to the kitchen without waiting for a response, completely ignoring the stunned look on her face. Since we've both been staying up late, I made red bean and juju porridge. Good for energy. When it's ready, I ladle out 2 bowls. Then I arrange the buns and dough sticks on a plate, boil some eggs, and prepare some side dishes. By the time Claire comes out of the bathroom, what she sees is a breakfast on the table that could almost be called lavish. The scene should feel warm and domestic, but Claire feels none of it. She knows her husband. In nearly 3 years of marriage, I have never once set foot in the kitchen or touched a chore. The only thing I've ever been good at is spending money. According to the information she found before the marriage, it didn't say I could do these things either. Her mind fills with questions, and she wonders if I was hiding it all along. We always had servants and a housekeeper before, so I never had to. Now it's just the 2 of us, and money is tight. We can't keep eating out. My cooking isn't anything special, but it's edible. If you don't mind, you can come back to eat from now on. So when Grandpa asked if you could cook, you lied to him? Claire says this, then picks up her spoon and tries the porridge. I pause, then laugh it off. My cooking is nothing compared to a professional housekeeper's. I figured Grandpa was used to fine dining, so I didn't want to embarrass myself. It's a thin excuse, but it holds. Claire nods. It's actually quite good. I watch her eat, still perfectly graceful even now, and it hits me. Asking a woman raised on the finest food could buy to eat street stall breakfast really is asking a lot. After breakfast, Claire moves to carry the dishes to the kitchen. I stop her quickly. Don't worry about it, I'll clean up. Go do whatever you need to do. There are still some business matters to handle. I probably won't be back until evening. Don't wait around for me, call me if you need anything. Once Claire leaves, I finally feel a sense of relief. I think to myself that even at her lowest, she still carries herself like royalty. The invisible weight of her presence never quite disappears. If I hadn't seen a thing or two in my time, I honestly might have cracked under that pressure. I've got a lot to get done today, not just picking up things for the apartment. I also need to photograph the watches and clothes, and list them for sale online. With everything we have, selling it all should bring in over 1,000,000 yuan. Though when Claire wants to do something, she'll have some seed money. On top of that, I need to feel out this world's online audience and think about getting back into my old line of work. Back in my original world, I was a web fiction writer, and my major was interior design. But after graduating, I didn't want to make a career of it, so I just started writing instead. I took on odd jobs here and there for extra income. So my life was pretty good. I wash the dishes, then head out with my shopping list. I've never been much of a shopper, so I buy what I need and come straight back. Then I start photographing the watches and clothes. I keep at it until evening. By the time I finish with the watches, I'm completely wiped out. I heat up the leftover buns from breakfast and eat a few. Then I retreat to my room to read web fiction. My body is done for the day, time for some mental work instead. 2 hours later, I clap my hands together with satisfaction. I down the cup of coffee on my desk in one go. Turns out the web fiction scene in this world is a step behind my original one. Every story I've already written could be rewritten here in a better way. This is an absolute golden opportunity. Just then I hear the sound of the front door open. I hesitate for a second, then shuffle out in my slippers. There's no help for it. I noticed this morning that the door wasn't locked from the inside last night. Claire is used to living in a villa where someone else handles security, so she probably forgets that with this kind of house, we have to lock the door ourselves. When she sees me come out, she pauses in the middle of hanging up her coat. Hey, you're back. I noticed this morning the door wasn't dead-bolted last night. Back in the villa, there was always someone handling security, not anymore. You have to bolt this kind of door at night, otherwise a thief could pop it open easily. Got it. We're basically strangers to each other, and the atmosphere is painfully awkward. So I force myself to start a conversation. Have you eaten? Yes. I picked up more household stuff today. If you're missing anything, let me know and I'll buy it later. Nothing I need right now. Topic ended. What else can I say? I think for 3 seconds and make the executive decision to retreat. Alright then, I'll be in my room. Call me if you need anything. After I close my door, Claire starts looking around the apartment, checking the kitchen, then the bathroom. The house has a lot more in it today. It actually feels lived in now. He's actually serious about staying, she thinks. It's like he's a completely different person. I have no idea what Claire is up to. I'm too busy dealing with my laptop. The original Ethan worked hard enough in high school to get into a good university, but he coasted through college, and his computer skills are absolutely catastrophic. This laptop is painfully slow. I need to clean it out and see what the original Ethan was actually up to. As I dig through the files, I come across a photo folder. There are lots of subfolders inside, mostly selfies, a few photos of his parents. Then there's one at the end with a garbled nonsense name. I click it open, and wow, inside are photos with another woman. She looks like some kind of those socialites, and she's pretty, but she is just not my type. There's something about her smile, all soft and delicate, like she's performing innocence. Seeing how close they look makes my soul physically tremble. I frantically check the dates, all before the wedding. Thank goodness. That was close. I keep a handful of the more neutral ones and delete everything else immediately. By now, I've pieced it together. That woman was the original Ethan's girlfriend from university, a wealthy heiress. But they've been broken up for ages. There's absolutely no reason to keep any of it. Lucky Claire never snooped. If she had found these, it would have been a ticking time bomb. By the time I've sorted the laptop out, it's almost 11. I yawn and faceplant onto the bed. The next morning, I'm up even earlier than yesterday, and this time I don't go out to buy anything. Instead, I make fried rice with 2 side dishes. By the time Claire gets up, everything is almost ready. She comes out of the bathroom just in time to eat. Claire stares at the spread and blinks. You can make fried rice too? Sure, I don't have a huge repertoire, but everyday home cooking is no problem. It's nothing fancy, just decent enough to eat. Don't expect too much. Claire takes a spoonful and tries it. It tastes good. Really good. I'm glad you like it. By the way, I'll be home for lunch today. That catches me off guard for a split second, then I snap back. What are you in the mood for? Whatever you make is fine, but I'd like rice. Okay, how about sweet and sour ribs, tomato and egg stir fry and egg drop soup? Will that be enough for you? That's enough. Then you go ahead and focus on your work, I've got it covered. After breakfast, Claire grabs her coat and heads out. I clear the table, same as always. Outside the complex, Claire gets into a car waiting by the gate. Behind the wheel is her former assistant, Sophie, also a childhood companion chosen by her grandpa to grow up alongside her. The moment Claire is settled in the seat, Sophie holds out a paper bag. Claire, here is your breakfast. No need, I already ate. Ethan made fried rice. Sophie freezes mid-handoff. Wait, Ethan can cook? First I'm hearing of it too. Yesterday he made porridge. I thought that was already a miracle. When he said he could cook, I assumed he was exaggerating. Then this morning he made fried rice. I told him I'd be home for lunch, and he's already planning to cook. Sophie frowns at all of this. He's not up to something, is he? I remember you two barely crossed paths, and he never knew how to do anything. Wait, didn't he say he wanted a divorce? I already looked up the whole process. Why is that gone quiet? Claire looks up, a thoughtful smile playing at her lips. He says he doesn't want a divorce anymore, and he has made peace with things, that he'll work hard and earn his own money, and I shouldn't stress myself out. Claire leans back against the headrest, her tone unreadable. Ha! He can't stand to watch you suffer, so he's decided to tough it out with you? If that's really it, he's not bad at all. He did nothing in college. The 2 years we've been married, all he ever did was spend money. One day he demands a divorce, the next he's changed his mind completely. What do you make of that? People say hard times show you who people really are. Maybe his conscience got to him. You never know what someone is made of until things fall apart, and we've certainly seen plenty of people turn their backs lately. Maybe Ethan is just the kind of person whose true character only comes out when things get hard. Maybe, let's go. Either way, he's not going to derail anything. I'll just watch and see. On the other side, I spend the entire morning photographing clothes. I can't possibly wear over 80 outfits. Keeping a dozen or so for appearances is plenty. I'll sell the rest and use the money to pick up some ordinary clothes. 2+ hours in, and I'm only halfway through. I check the clock on the living room wall, already 10. I need to go grocery shopping. So I quickly pack everything away, throw on a jacket, and head out. I come out of the supermarket hauling 2 heavy bags and start heading back. I've just crossed the street when someone calls out to me. I turn around and see a woman who is very beautiful and dressed exquisitely. I look again. Isn't this the woman from those photos last night? The moment she sees me turn, she rushes over. Ethan, what happened to you? I look down at my clothes, then at the bags in my hands. I'm genuinely confused. Is something wrong? What are you doing here? She looks at me with this deeply emotional expression. Leave Claire and come back to me. I can give you a better life. It hurts me to see you struggling like this. Come back and I promise I'll take care of you. If it weren't for everything I know about her from the original Ethan's memories, I might actually be moved by that look in her eyes. Rosie Lowe, second daughter of the Lowe group, and the original Ethan's ex-girlfriend. When she was with the original Ethan, she soaked up every bit of his attention and devotion, while mocking him behind his back for trying to latch on to money. Despite her family's wealth, she never spent a single yuan on him. Throughout the whole relationship, he was always the one paying. She called him when she wanted him, dismissed him when she didn't, dripping with a sense of superiority the whole time. It wasn't until Claire approached the original Ethan that Rosie suddenly started acting like she was madly in love. She wanted him to turn Claire down. The original Ethan genuinely cared about her, willing to go without food or clothing, just to save money for her, but she was only ever playing with him. Fortunately, the original Ethan had enough sense not to completely lose himself in her trap. In fact, the original Ethan almost did turn Claire down, but by chance he caught a glimpse of Claire's true character, and that's what finally made him give Rosie up. And that experience is exactly why the original Ethan became convinced that in this world, only money can be trusted. It's what turned him into the spendthrift everyone knew. It's fair to say that this woman bears at least half the responsibility for what the original Ethan became, and now she's coming after me, definitely not out of love. I don't know exactly what she's scheming, but it's nothing good. Claire used to be someone Rosie could only look up to and admire from a distance. Now that Claire has fallen, if I'm easily lured away, it would be another blow to Claire. And maybe she's planning something worse to Claire. So I shake my head. I'm not going anywhere with you. Go back to wherever you came from. Why not? Claire is a loser now. She'll only drag you down. What could you possibly be getting from her? Marriage means sharing the good times and the hard ones. I'm her husband, of course I stay by her side. Whatever happens to her, I'm not walking away. She's only hit a temporary setback. Even if she were seriously ill, even if she couldn't take care of herself, I'd still be there. This has nothing to do with hardship or money. As long as she doesn't divorce me, I'm not leaving. Especially not now when she needs me most. What are you talking about? If I remember correctly, you two barely even interact. She just keeps giving you money to spend. There's no real feeling between you, so why put yourself through this? Rosie stares at me like I've completely lost my mind. Who said she hasn't been good to me? When she had money, she gave me plenty every month. Sure, she didn't have time to spend with me, but I could spend money freely. Yes, maybe that money was nothing to her, but money doesn't come from nowhere. Her giving it was a kindness. She had every right not to. Since she gave, I should appreciate it. And now that things have gone wrong, even in a divorce, she'd still let me stay in this apartment and give me most of what's left. She's done more than enough for me. You call that good? If that doesn't count as good, then what does? We never had deep feelings for each other to begin with. The fact that she's acted with this much decency says everything. You say she's not good enough. Are you any better? Of course I'm better. If you came back to me, I'd treat you so well. I cut her off before she can say another word. Back in college, I had nothing. And you looked down on me the whole time, thought I was just trying to leech off your family's money. We were together for nearly 2 years, and you never spent a single yuan on me. The gifts you gave me were freebies that came with your own purchases. Meanwhile, I was grinding through part-time jobs just to have money to spend on you. And then you turned around and dumped me. You call that good? What are you talking about? What kind of person do you think I am? Did Claire say something to you which makes you misunderstand me? A darkness flickers behind Rosie's eyes. You think too highly of yourself. Someone like Claire would never waste her breath talking about you to me. She doesn't even notice you exist. You're the one who keeps watching her, trying to make yourself matter in her world. There's a saying that the world looks like whatever you are inside. Leave now. I don't want to say anything harsher. Fury flashes in her eyes upon hearing this. She steps closer, her expression shifting to something soft and wounded. Ethan, Claire has gotten into your head. How can you really think this way? I genuinely care about you. Claire only has a hold on you because she's broke now and clinging on. Don't be naive. Stop, don't come any closer. Bottom line, abandoning my wife the moment she hits rock bottom is not something a decent person does. I'm not leaving her. Give that idea up for good. If I ever do leave, it'll be because she no longer needs me. Rosie opens her mouth to say something else, when a burst of applause erupts nearby. Yes, that's exactly right, young man. Now there's a man with solid values. If more people thought this way, there'd be a lot fewer divorces. Your wife is lucky to have you. I finally notice. Not far off, there's a whole group of elderly men and women, clearly just back from their morning exercise. They've gathered around, and the man at the front gives Rosie a thorough once-over, shaking his head and clicking his tongue. Young lady, this man has a perfectly good marriage, and you're trying to wedge yourself in? That's not right. How would you feel if you were married and someone kept trying to steal your husband? Don't do to others what you don't want done to yourself. Exactly, you're saying he should leave his wife, just because she's hit hard times and run off with you instead. Can you honestly guarantee you'll never have a hard day yourself? It's like a floodgate has opened. Every single one of them starts going in on Rosie, not giving her a single chance to respond. Within minutes, she's been thoroughly convicted, morally bankrupt, values in shambles, a hopeless case. I quickly step aside, ducking behind the crowd and desperately trying not to laugh. She really does need some educating. And you're all doing an excellent job. I've got to get home and cook, so I'll head back now. Let's chat another time if we meet again. Don't worry, go ahead, we've got this covered. Not far away, Claire and Sophie have been watching the whole scene from the car. Neither of them moves for a long moment. It's only after Rosie has dutifully admitted her wrongs and been released by the elderly jury that Sophie finally speaks, still in disbelief. Claire, that was Ethan, right? He seems like a completely different person. It was him. He's actually a good person. I mean, all we ever knew was that he spent money carelessly, but now that you're technically bankrupt, he refuses to leave. He'd rather struggle than walk away. And it's not even because he loves you, it's because it's the right thing to do. Just like those folks said, he has solid values. At this point, even Claire has to admit, her understanding of who I am has been off. After parting with Sophie, Claire heads straight home. She opens the door to find me, curled up on the rug in front of the sofa, fingers flying across the keyboard, the whole apartment filled with the smell of meat cooking. You're back? I look up. Claire sets some fruit she bought on the coffee table and walks over, curious. She looks more closely and realizes I'm writing a story. I figure I've pretty much forgotten my major, but I still remember some things I learned before, and I've always read a lot of web fiction, so I know the space reasonably well. I figured I'd try writing some. You don't mind, do you? I ask without stopping typing. Claire finds this consistent with what she knows of me. After all, she's not counting on me to bring in money anyway. As long as you're happy. I know a wealthy heiress like her probably has zero interest in web fiction. She might not even know what it is. So I change the subject. The ribs are braising, probably another hour before we eat. Go do your thing. Claire nods, goes to wash up and change, then disappears into her room and doesn't come back out. An hour later, I knock on her door and call her for lunch. On the table are 2 bowls of rice and a spread of dishes. It's colorful, fragrant, properly done. I even added some garnish. It looks like real effort went into it. This is my first time making sweet and sour ribs, so I honestly don't know how they turned out. Give them a try. If they're no good, I can throw together a smashed cucumber. Ever since my parents accidentally passed away in college, I've lived alone. Influenced by them, I don't demand an extremely high quality of life, but I definitely don't settle for low standards either. I kept the place clean on a regular schedule. I cooked for myself whenever I could and lived a very structured life, so my life skills are solid. What I said earlier, that was just being polite. I wouldn't claim to be a great cook, but everyday home cooking I can handle. Back in the day I always cooked when friends got together, and the compliments were never in short supply. Claire picks up a piece of rib and tries it, then nods. It tastes delicious. Good. Eat more then. The past few days have been a mess. You haven't eaten properly or slept properly. You've been working yourself hard. I pour a cup of lemon tea I brewed earlier and push it toward her. This is lemon tea with little honey, good for vitamin C. Drink as much as you like. Don't let the sourness put you off. Claire watches me with a searching look, unable to shake the feeling that the man in front of her is someone else entirely. He doesn't match the information she found before or the interactions they've had over these 2 years of marriage, but she never paid close attention to him either, so she can't say with certainty that what she found was complete. She pushes down the questions and says, "Thank you, you've worked hard." "Not at all, I'm home all day, completely sheltered from everything. You're the one out there dealing with everything." I smile. Eat more. Just thinking about it, Claire used to be in a world most people could only look up at. When old Master White was alive, who would have dared cross the White family? And Claire was always the most outstanding among them all. Countless people grew up being compared to her by their parents, and coming up short. Now old Master White is gone, and the distant branches of the White family are only thinking about how to carve up what's left. They're practically counting down to her complete collapse. Not one of them will lift a finger to help. Some would happily push her down even further. The chance to trample the person they once had to look up to. How satisfying that must feel. In fact, before I transmigrated, when I was just reading this story, I never understood why Claire kept refusing help from her closest friends. If she had accepted it, she never would have fallen so far. But given where we stand right now, I can't exactly ask. She was raised as a wealthy heiress. She must have her reasons. I don't know how Claire feels about this meal, but I eat very well indeed, and I'm guessing she didn't hate it either. After all, she had 2 bowls of rice. I'll put the dishes in the kitchen, don't touch them. I'll wash up after my nap. I drop everything into the sink, wash some fruit and bring it out to the coffee table. Then I settle back onto the rug and keep typing. Writing something I've already written before, the words come fast, and my typing speed has been well trained over the years. Just in that one morning session I knocked out a 2,000-word outline. At this rate, I figure I can finish 20,000 words and submit tomorrow. Claire and I are in a tight spot, we really need money. I don't know the first thing about business, so the only thing I can do is earn as much as I can, and take some of the weight off her. Claire retreats to her room again, and after the door closes I have no idea what she's doing in there. Around 1:30, I force myself to close the laptop and drag myself to bed for a nap. The living room goes quiet. In her room, Claire hesitates for a moment, then types a reply to Sophie. "Forget it. Let me just see how he does first. You can hold off on the search for now. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Let's wait and see." Less than an hour later, my alarm goes off. I haul myself out of bed. Head still foggy, I shuffle toward the bathroom and find the door pulled shut. Still half asleep, I grab the handle and yank it open, step forward to walk in, and look straight into someone's eyes. "Sorry, I was half asleep. I thought I was alone." I blurt out an explanation, then flee to my room red-faced and shut the door. I want to smack myself. That was mortifying. It takes a good while before I pull myself together enough to open the door and step out. Claire has just come out of the bathroom. We look at each other again. There's 4 or 5 meters between us, but she speaks first. "It's fine, don't be so embarrassed. This apartment is small. We'll keep running into each other, you'll get used to it." Right, get used to it. Are you not going out today?" "Everything I needed to handle today is done. I'm staying in this afternoon." Claire says this, then seems to remember something. "I've been out most of these past few days. Is there anything you need help with?" I feel a flicker of unease. Is something wrong? Just because I grew up in the White family doesn't mean I can't handle basic life skills. We're living here together now, so if there's anything you need, just tell me. I'm not only good for earning money. Okay, got it. I look at her being completely serious about this, and somehow I find her kind of cute. Whether she's on top of the world or at rock bottom, there's absolutely nothing to complain about in the looks department. As the author's most beautiful character, even a blank expression on her looks stunning. I'm honestly impressed with myself for managing not to feel a thing. After saying, Claire gives me one long, meaningful look and heads back to her room. Then something suddenly occurs to me. I jump up and run to her door. "What do you want for dinner?" "Anything is fine, I'm not picky." Well, the wealthy heiress is actually easier to feed than I expected. I wander back and settle in by the coffee table to keep writing. I finish a chapter and suddenly remember the listings on the resale platform. I quickly pull it up. Wow. 12 watches and 2 outfits already sold. I don't know much about luxury goods pricing, so I looked everything up online first and listed it all at 80% of market price. A lot of it is still sealed in the original packaging, but I was worried Claire might need cash quickly, so I didn't dare price them too high. I was half expecting no one to bite. Luxury goods at that price point is still a big spend, but surprisingly, they're selling pretty fast. I note down all the shipping addresses I need. After saving the file, I go to my room to pull out the watches and clothes. Since there's a fair bit to send, I arrange for a courier to come pick everything up. Half an hour later, everything is packed and the courier arrives. Claire must have heard the commotion. She opens her door and comes out. What are you doing? There are way too many clothes and watches and I'm not going anywhere these days. They're just taking up space. So I figured I'd sort through them and sell some off. These sold today, it is better get them out to the buyers quickly. That's not necessary. We're not so desperate that you need to be selling my things. Honestly, it's mostly because the clutter bothers me. And these aren't the latest models anymore, I'm never going to use them. So it's better to sell them and have the money ready for when something new catches my eye. That ought to let the wealthy heiress keep her pride intact, right? I think I'm being pretty considerate, but something in what I said must have hit a nerve. She reaches out and briefly grips my hand, a slight tremor in it, then lets go and doesn't stop me. She only says, alright, we'll get new ones later. Actually, how would I dare buy new ones? A single watch costs tens of thousands of yuan, that's 6 months of living expenses for me. Buy a few of those and I'd be completely broke. Even though I'm complaining internally, I don't show it at all on the surface. A wealthy heiress like her has her pride. I smile. I'll wait for you to buy me new ones. Claire is momentarily dazzled by this familiar yet recently very unfamiliar smile. She glances down at the packed boxes on the floor and bends down to pick them up, helping load them into the courier's bag herself. Only after the courier leaves with everything does Claire ask, how much are you planning to sell? There were over 100 watches and more than 80 outfits. About 70 of the watches are still sealed. I'm selling all of those. Of the rest, I'll keep about 10% and sell the other 40 or so. As for the clothes, I'll keep around 30 outfits and sell the rest. I half expect Claire to stop me, but she just nods and says nothing more. She picks up an apple, sits on the sofa, and starts peeling it. I can't quite figure out what she's thinking. I don't know whether what I'm doing is hurting her pride, but living is more important than these random thoughts, and even if she minds, there's nothing else to do. I looked it up this morning. In this story's world, property prices have only risen halfway to where they'll eventually go. I don't know what Claire's plans are, or whether she'll really manage a comeback. But whatever happens, I need to figure out how to buy a place first. Once the watches and clothes are sold, I'll have enough for a down payment. Then I'll give Claire the rest of the cash and pay off the mortgage on my own over time. That way, even if she never makes her comeback, at least we'll both have a roof over our heads. My mind wanders through all of this, while I sit staring blankly at the laptop screen, not moving. Then suddenly there's a peeled apple in front of me. The scent hits me first, sweet and fresh. The peel is perfectly even. I swallow without thinking. Claire is holding it out to me. For me? Claire pushes it a little closer. You've put up with a lot. I'm genuinely caught off guard. In the original story, Claire never got close to men, never had much patience for them at all, and yet here she is, peeling me an apple and doing it so beautifully. It's amazing. I take the apple quickly and say, it's nothing. It was bought with your money to begin with. You never complained about my spending back then. I'm already grateful for that. Claire actually laughs. She usually wears such a composed, closed-off expression, not icy exactly, but not the kind of face that invites you closer. Now she laughs, and I completely freeze. How is a person this beautiful? Don't worry, I'll buy you plenty of new watches when the time comes. I nod instinctively, then catch myself feeling oddly flustered and shy. I know you'll make a comeback. Take your time, I'll be waiting for those watches. Come on, you've got this. Claire rises, that faint smile still on her face, and heads back to her room. Out of my sight, a flicker of amusement passes through her eyes. That afternoon, I push through and manage to write over 10,000 words. Dinner is a casual, easy affair, and then we each go back to our own things. I stay up until midnight and hit 20,000 words. The next morning, after breakfast, Claire heads out and I get to work figuring out how to submit the manuscript. I check the resale platform, 8 more watches and another outfit sold. I can practically see the money pouring into my account, and the feeling puts me in a great mood. I've just organized the manuscript and sent it off when there's a knock at the door. Who is it? I get up to answer. A man's voice comes through the door. It's me, Marcus James. Marcus James? I rack my brain as I walk to the door, but I can't place the name at all. I open the door. A man standing there with that kind of roguishly good-looking face. The moment he sees me, he runs a slow, calculating look over me from head to toe, which I find extremely uncomfortable. Not going to invite me in? Marcus says, already moving to step inside. I still have no idea who this person is, so I block the doorway. Who are you here for? If you're Ethan, then I'm looking for you. He angles himself past me and squeezes in. Claire is not home right now, is she? Since he's already inside, throwing him out would just be rude. So I close the door and pour him a cup of tea. She's not here. She left early this morning. Is there something you want with me? Of course there is. To be honest, you're not bad looking, but you have no background and no ability. Claire marrying you is beneath her. I know it's because old Master White wanted to repay a debt of gratitude that he let you marry Claire, but in all these years, you've never helped her with anything. All you've ever done is spend money and enjoy yourself. Don't you feel ashamed of yourself? Can I ask, what exactly is your relationship to Claire? Claire and I grew up together as childhood friends. She's always been close to me. If it weren't for you, we might already be together. Funny, I've never heard her mention you. Obviously not. Would Claire really bring up something like that in front of you? It is true that Claire probably wouldn't mention it in front of the original Ethan. They weren't close and she's never been one to stir things up unnecessarily. I nod. So what do you actually want from me? Claire needs help right now, and you're just a dead weight holding her back. My father has agreed if Claire and I get married, he'll help her rebuild everything. So you need to divorce her. If Claire wants to divorce me, she can come tell me herself. Why does she need you to deliver the message? I'm not going to cling on. Unless this is just your idea? Claire would never do something so undignified herself. Of course she can't say it, so you have to be the one to step up. You've spent her money for years and never once helped her, and she's never made your life difficult. Now that she's in trouble, you can't contribute much, fine. At the very least, stop dragging her down. You bring it up, she accepts gracefully. Everyone keeps their dignity. Is this what Claire wants? It's what I want. Don't you understand? Claire isn't the type to do something like this herself. What we need to do now is to take the initiative to help her. You divorce her, I marry her, and then she can accept my father's support. If Claire herself wanted this, I'd agree to a divorce without a second thought. But you're saying it's your idea. So let me ask, before Claire and I got married, were you and she a couple? Did she love you? Marcus goes rigid mid-sip. That's not relevant, she's not good at expressing herself. And she doesn't like you either. I can help her, you can only hold her back. I'm 100 times better suited for her than you are. You're wrong, I may not know her as well as you do, but I'm certain she would never easily accept your father's help. Especially not help that comes at the price of marrying you. You think convincing your father to back her is doing her a favor, but you haven't thought about what it would cost her. If she rebuilds on your father's support, what kind of reputation does that leave her with? She'll never be free of the label of someone who got ahead through a marriage deal. I don't know Claire all that well, honestly, but I trust that the character written in this story, even as a villain, is not someone who would ever accept a handout. In fact, if she hadn't refused to bend, she wouldn't have faced so many of the hardships that brought her down. Someone like that, how could she accept using her marriage as a bargaining chip to make a comeback? Not a chance. At least not right now. Honestly, I don't have anything against divorcing Claire, just not because someone pushed me into it. I lay it out plainly. What Claire decides is her business. I will absolutely respect whatever she chooses. Marcus looks like I've stepped on a nerve. He erupts. You just want to cling to her, that's what this is. How can you be so selfish? Claire has done more than enough for you. Now she finally has a chance to rebuild and you're standing in the way. You're disgusting. I've been more than polite to you. You show up unannounced and say all of this. Anyone watching would think you're the one trying to wreck someone else's marriage. When has our marriage ever been anyone else's business? Even if your intentions toward Claire are good, you have no right coming to me with this. If you want to help her, go talk to her. I can't make decisions for her, and I'm not going to fight tooth and nail against a divorce. Any clear-headed person can see that. If she truly cared for you, why didn't you two get together before old Master White came to find me? If the feelings weren't there, why were you never even a couple to begin with? You keep saying she's not the kind of person to act dishonorably, yet what you're doing right now is dishonorable on her behalf, and you haven't thought through a single practical detail for her. What right do you have to say any of this? You're nothing but a kept pretty boy who can't do anything except spend money. What gives you the right? What gives me the right? The fact that I'm still her husband, in name if nothing else. And as long as that's true, I have every right to speak up against anyone trying to interfere in our marriage. Yes, I spent her money and never helped her with anything, but she agreed to it. She didn't mind. So what exactly are you worked up about? If you want to marry her, go tell her that. If she agrees, I will sign the divorce papers without a single word of protest. But coming to me, that I won't agree to. You have no shame. Marcus slams his cup down on the table. I'm past being angry. I turn my own cup calmly in my hands. You're the one trying to break up a marriage, and you don't feel any shame about it, so where do you get the nerve to call me shameless? If that's what you think of me, then I'd say we've said everything there is to say. Bottom line, you just refuse to divorce her. Think of it that way if you like. Getting what amounts to a confirmation and knowing he's not going to get what he came for today, Marcus stands up and storms out angrily. But before leaving, he turns back to throw one last line at me. Just wait, Claire will drop you sooner or later. The door slams shut. I let out a long, quiet sigh. It's understandable that the female lead is likable, but did even the villainess have to be this popular? If it weren't for my conscience, I'd honestly be tempted to just get the divorce. But it's just a passing thought. I can't bring myself to occupy someone else's body and take things for granted, even though it wasn't me who spent that money. It's technically on my tab now, isn't it? I push it all out of my mind and open the browser, jotting down addresses and details, then heading to my room to pull out the sold watches. Once everything is sorted, I call the courier. Today's sales need to go out as soon as possible. Running the numbers, everything sold so far comes to over 2 million yuan. Once the buyers confirm receipt, a very satisfying sum lands in my account. When I sell a few more later, I can buy a small apartment, put down a down payment, and officially join the ranks of homeowners. The thought alone fills me with energy. I don't feel like writing anymore. Instead, I open a new tab and start browsing property listings in this city. My first home I'm going to choose carefully. I browse for a while, and before long it's nearly noon. I don't even have time to close the tab. I dash to the kitchen to start cooking. Claire mentioned this morning when she left that she'd be home for lunch. That's on me. I got so caught up daydreaming about the future that I completely lost track of time. I'm planning on wontons for lunch. The filling has been mixed since morning, and I picked up the wrappers yesterday. My hands move with practiced ease, like I've fallen into a rhythm. A few seconds per piece, and before long I've wrapped over 20. I'm still at it when Claire gets home. I don't even look up. You're back? Yeah, what are you doing? Claire stands in the doorway, close enough to see my hands moving quickly but not quite what I'm making, so she asks instinctively. Wrapping wontons, that's what's for lunch today. I'll also make some flatbread on the side, so we won't have to worry about not getting enough. I say it like it's the most natural thing in the world. Making flatbread and wrapping wontons from scratch, this goes well beyond what an average home cook can do. The suspicion in Claire's mind stirs again, but then she looks at me. sitting there quietly, hands moving with quiet confidence, and somehow she feels there's nothing to question. Come to think of it, I haven't had these in a long time. The words slip out unintentionally. Then, finding it a bit strange, she shuts her mouth, stepping into the bathroom to wash her hands like she's covering something up. I don't notice any of her strangeness at all. I love wontons myself, and thinking about how Claire has been buried in business matters lately, she wouldn't have had the mind to care about food. Besides, wontons are street food, really. It makes sense she hasn't had them in ages. Do you want a bigger portion? I can cook up more if you're in the mood. Whatever's left I'll wrap and freeze. Good for days when neither of us feels like cooking. Alright, make a bit more then. Claire comes out of the bathroom and that's all she says. She hasn't had street food in a long time, the last time was 3 or 4 years ago. If I hadn't brought it up, she might not even have realized how long it's been since she last relaxed. Alright, I'll make plenty. I say it without slowing my hands. To me, life is full of hope and small joys. Life is what you make of it. Getting a second chance at it is already a gift. Everything it offers is worth holding on to. Being able to sit here and wrap wontons, eat wontons, that's happiness enough. Nearly an hour later, 2 steaming bowls of wontons land on the table. I call Claire out, and I'm already seated, tilting my head toward her chair with an expectant grin. Try them. I think they turned out pretty well. I wasn't sure how much you eat, and wontons alone don't really fill us up, so I made some flatbread wraps too. Do you eat those? Hearing this, she finds it a bit amusing, but doesn't show it. Of course I do. I'm a normal person. She sits down and tries one, takes a moment to consider, then gives her comment. These are good. See? I told you they'd be good. I love wontons, so of course I'd put in the effort. Since you like them, eat plenty. We eat at different paces. Claire finishes about half of what I do, but we finish at almost exactly the same time. This time when I get up to do the dishes, she speaks up out of nowhere. I'll get a dishwasher. It's just a few bowls, doesn't take long. No need to spend money on that. It's not that expensive, don't worry about it, Claire says casually. I immediately pull a conflicted face. What's wrong? She hasn't fully adjusted yet. She hasn't quite registered that we're no longer living the way we used to. I'm debating whether to say something directly, but then I see the slight furrow in her brow, and the reminder I had planned comes out as something else entirely. Alright, I'll go pick one out myself. Don't worry about it. I'm very particular, it might take me a while to find the right one. I sigh internally the moment the words are out. Her good look really does make me go soft. I couldn't bring myself to say even a mildly bruising thing to her, but I've already said I'm picky. Taking forever and coming back empty-handed is perfectly believable. Claire watches my conflicted expression, and suddenly understands exactly what's going on in my head. A strange feeling moves through her. In the first half of her life, although Grandpa had put her through hardship deliberately, in fact, after she completed that trial at 15, she never had to feel that way again. This time, she's not actually broke. It's her husband who thinks she is, and even so, he doesn't mention being broke in front of her. It's a strange feeling. She can't quite name what she makes of it. I have things to do. I'll be in my room. Claire turns and goes, leaving me alone with the dishes. I hum while I wash up. Life feels pretty good right now. There's a roof over my head and food on the table. The watches and clothes are selling well. Soon I'll have a place of my own. Things can only get better from here. Claire has what it takes. Her comeback is only a matter of time. And when that happens, maybe she'll share some money with me then. Even if she never bounces back, I can support us on my own. For now, having someone around who's more or less a friend means I don't have to worry about being on my own if something goes wrong. I won't be idle forever. Someday we'll live a quiet, ordinary life. If she wants a divorce, I'll give her one. I'll find the right person eventually. As long as we both end up okay, that's good enough. After the dishes, I write for a bit, then get ready for my nap. That's when Claire opens her door and comes out. Did Marcus give you trouble today? Not exactly trouble. He wanted me to bring up the divorce myself. I turned him down. I assumed there was nothing between you two. If you have feelings for him, we can divorce whenever you want. He also said his father could help you rebuild, on the condition that you marry him. There's nothing between us, and I won't be divorcing you over him. You handled it well. As for the rest, we'll deal with that later. I don't need anyone's help right now, and this isn't something his father can fix anyway. Understood. That tracks, I think. I get up to head to my room for a nap. Claire suddenly speaks up, watching me with a searching look. Since when do you take afternoon naps? I stiffen slightly and fumble for an explanation. I just realized my old routine wasn't great and my health was suffering for it, so I've been trying to fix that. You should actually try it too. A midday nap does wonders for your energy in the afternoon, makes everything more efficient. Get some rest then. Claire goes back to her room. I stand there for a moment, quietly uneasy. I didn't say anything suspicious, did I? After a blow like bankruptcy, anyone could change. That's completely believable. Back in her room, Claire sits down at her desk, expression blank, and falls into thought. After a while, she still seems to be holding something back. Instead, she picks up her phone and makes a call. Get a dishwasher delivered to me in the next few days. There are some things I still need to watch. For now, just keep things as they are. After hanging up, she sets her phone down and her eyes drift to the bed beside her. My words come back to her. Is an afternoon nap really that good? Before she even realizes what she's doing, she's lying down, and her whole body loosens. It actually does feel nice. She's been busy with all sorts of things these past few years, and it's been a long time since she last slept with any real peace. Without noticing, 2:30 in the afternoon arrives. I come out of my room with a long, full-body stretch. I splash some water on my face in the bathroom, and step out just as Claire emerges from her room, her eyes still hazy with sleep. Oh my god, is this what she looks like waking up? She's way too beautiful, and someone like this turned out to be a villainess. The author must have put real effort into creating her, and yet gave her such a tragic ending. What a waste. I'm so caught up in the thought that I don't notice my own expression, and inadvertently let a trace of pity show. Claire catches it. Something about it makes her flinch, like a brush of heat. I pull my gaze away immediately. Do you need the bathroom? No, I'm done. Go ahead. I step aside and let Claire pass. I shrug to myself and sit back down at the laptop, ready to write. The moment I open it, there's a friend request. The note says it's an editor from a literary platform. Claire hears something and comes out still drying her hands. What happened? My story passed the first review. Once it clears the second and final rounds, it'll start generating income. Really? Congratulations. Good news for both of us. I say it and go right back to ignoring her, diving back into the story and typing away. Seeing me busy on the computer, Claire heads back to her room. That afternoon, I arrange for a courier to come pick up more packages. The courier who shows up is a young woman. Mr. Ethan, have you opened an online shop? These watches all look really nice. Any chance you could sell me one at a discount? I'd love to give one to my boyfriend as a gift. I'm taken aback and quickly wave my hand. Sorry, I don't have a shop. I'm just shipping things out for a friend. The prices on these aren't cheap. They're all over 10,000 yuan each. That's not my call to make. If you're interested, I can ask on your behalf. Over 10,000? Oh my, these must all be luxury pieces. I honestly don't know much about it. Maybe so, they're definitely not cheap. While I'm still talking, the elevator beside us opens and Claire steps out. She heard everything. What's going on? Nothing much. This courier was asking about buying one of the watches. Since they're not mine, I thought maybe I could ask if there's a discount. No, if they're luxury pieces, forget it. I'm just an ordinary person. I couldn't pull off wearing something that expensive anyway. The courier moves on. Is this everything for the pickup? If so, I'll get it all sorted and head out. Should be dispatched shortly. Yes, that's all of it. Thank you. The courier picks up the packages, steps into the elevator, and goes. I realize I've been blocking the doorway the whole time and quickly step aside. How are you back so early today? Not much to deal with today. Claire steps inside. Why did you say the watches belong to someone else? Claiming they're mine didn't feel right. We don't know what the security situation is around here. If word gets out that we have valuables, that could be dangerous. And that courier has been here a few times now. We have a working relationship. We'll need her again. If I said they were mine and still couldn't give her a discount, she might hold a grudge and mess with the packages. I could file a complaint, sure, but that's a hassle I'd rather avoid. Bottom line, we can never fully know someone, and we're not close enough for me to take that risk. That was thoughtful of you. By the way, there's a reception in a few days. We'll need to attend together. Start getting ready. A reception? I've barely been to any. Will I end up being a problem for you? It's fine. At this point, there's no one left who can really cause me trouble. And even if something comes up, a little friction doesn't bother me. Claire calmly picks up a cup from the table and pours herself some water. Something about the way she says it sits uneasily in my chest. All right, I'll prepare properly. Over the next 2 days, Claire keeps her usual rhythm, out early, back late, but she's home for breakfast and dinner. I fall into the habit of having 2 meals ready morning and evening. Every day I write, handle sales, and look up everything I can about receptions. One evening, Claire comes home to find me not in my usual spot on the rug in front of the sofa. The moment I hear the door, I look up at her with an intense, slightly strange expression. She looks at the pile of clothes around me. What's all this? Did you buy all of these? Please, I need your help. I haven't been to one of these things in forever, and I have no idea what's appropriate to wear anymore. These are the ones I picked out, the better options. Take a look and tell me which one is best. Didn't you always insist on picking your own clothes? Back then, everything had just changed so suddenly. I was a bit on edge. Insisting on choosing my own clothes was my way of holding on to some dignity. But I've thought it through now. A person is what they are. There's no point being touchy about it and making myself look worse in the process. It's better to just honestly admit when you don't know something. Sounds like you've got it figured out. Then please, which one? I really can't decide. Claire looks through them and points to the most classic option, a black suit. This one. Clean, understated, it works. Perfect, that one it is. I fold everything else back up. On the evening of the reception, Claire drives us herself. I deliberately take the back seat. Claire glances at me in the rearview mirror. You're not dressed very warmly. Are you cold? I'm fine, long sleeves at least. Not that cold yet. I've been getting the feeling that you act a little strange around me. Not at all. We have no grievances between us, and you've been good to me. I'm nothing but grateful. It's just that we didn't have much contact before, and lately we're running into each other constantly. I'm still adjusting. It'll get easier with time. Through the rearview mirror, Claire watches me rub the back of my head, my practiced smile fading, leaving something that looks genuinely lost. She suddenly loses the desire to talk. We ride the rest of the way in silence. Before long, we arrive at the largest hotel in the city. We've barely reached the entrance when someone steps into our path, casually, like it might be an accident. The man blocking us is slightly overweight, his hair gleaming with product, a garishly dressed woman on his arm, his face wearing an expression of undisguised ill intent. That plot of land in the East District, I hear a major developer has been eyeing it lately. Shouldn't you be keeping tabs on that, Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wilson freezes, his expression contorting, and he forces a smile. Lady Claire, you look as impressive as ever. It's been too long, what a pleasure. Claire doesn't bother responding. She walks right past him and I follow. I stay close behind her as we enter the reception. I recognize several faces from the original Ethan's memories. The kept husbands and overlooked sons of the wealthy heiresses, none of them particularly significant. A few of them spot me with their drinks and look like they might come over, then they see Claire beside me and quietly retreat. Some throw me meaningful looks. You're not going to go say hello? Why would I? That would be asking for trouble. I was never actually close with any of them, just surface level acquaintances. Things have changed. I'd better not to pretend otherwise. We've barely taken a few more steps when two young men approach, women on their arms. The one who reaches us first is slightly older, around 30, with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Well, if it isn't Lady Claire, it's been ages, and this must be, forgive my memory, getting on in years. You are Lady Claire's husband, right? How rare to see you both out together. What's the matter, life treating you badly? Running low on cash lately? I'd heard the two of you weren't exactly close. It looks like people were wrong about that. Mr. Fang, it's been a while. I was starting to think you'd taken ill and couldn't get up. Clearly I was mistaken. Some people are smart enough that after falling in the same spot once, they make sure to step around it next time. Others aren't satisfied until they've fallen there to their death. Which would you say describes you, Mr. Fang? Indeed, some pits that used to be pits are now treasure lying right on the ground waiting to be picked up, and naturally anyone who spots treasure wants to reach for it. I'm sure you understand what I mean, Lady Claire. By the way, I hear you've run into some business trouble recently. We've known each other long enough that I feel I should offer a friendly word of advice. Sometimes wealth isn't measured in money, sometimes it's measured in people. My fist tightens without thinking and I step forward, putting myself between him and Claire. Then a woman's voice cuts through from nearby. Claire, what are you doing here? At the sound of that voice, both men's expressions shift and they take a step back in unison. Just stop by. What exactly do you two think you're doing? Since when is my second sister someone you can just walk up and talk to however you like? Have the fangs and the H's really sunk this low? Why are you still standing there, waiting for a formal invitation to leave? Don't mistake me for my sister. I do not have her patience. Both men nod rapidly and make themselves scarce. Their companions crane their necks trying to get a look at Vera and get harshly snapped at for it. Claire, honestly, if you're coming, fine, but why bring him? And if you are bringing him, at least give me a heads up. Those two idiots just now actually trying to flex in front of you. You really are too patient with them. It's nothing, just a couple of clowns. But what about you? You never come to things like this. What brought you here tonight? I was worried you might show up and run into people with no sense, so I had my manager cancel an appearance for this. Good thing I did, or who knows what those two would have said. Vera turns her gaze to me, looking me up and down with a measuring look. Given where my older sister is right now, there's no money left to squeeze out of her, so you can drop the act. If you're going to leave, just go. I smile awkwardly and say nothing. Don't talk nonsense. We're still married, Claire says. Come on, let's go sit somewhere. Fine, I'll come with you. With Vera sitting beside us, no one else comes near. Anyone with any standing here knows Vera is not someone you want to cross. I'd brace myself for an evening full of awkward encounters, but we've barely been seated when Claire is already ready to go. Vera tries to get Claire to stay for something, but Claire declines. We leave together. In the car, I watch Claire, who is driving, and after a full 3 minutes of hesitation, I finally work up the nerve. Did you get what you came for tonight? More or less. I've been selling off the watches and clothes. We've got a decent amount now. Since everything's been settled and we're debt-free, I was thinking, why not buy a small apartment? We can put down a deposit now, and I'll pay off the rest with my writing income. The remaining money, keep 6 months of living expenses as a buffer, and whatever's left, use it for business if you need to. Claire blinks, glances at me through the rearview mirror, then says, there's no rush. How is there no rush? Property prices are shifting every day. The longer we wait, the more we lose. Renting isn't a long-term solution. If it makes you more comfortable, we can put it in your name. Either way, owning a place means we'll always have somewhere to land. All right, I'll think about it. Back home that night, I go to my room and keep writing. Claire gets a phone call. Claire, I've found what you asked me to look into. I've sent an encrypted file to your email. I haven't shared it with anyone else. Take a look. Claire's laptop is open on the email. She lets out a quiet breath, her index finger scrolling down the page in an absent, rhythmic way, her brow faintly furrowed. After a long moment, she picks up her phone and dials. Hello, Master Chen. I have a question. Is it possible for a person without any dissociative condition or psychosis to become an entirely different person in every meaningful sense? As in, their habits, their values, their whole way of being, all seemingly transformed overnight. A few minutes later, she hangs up, leans back in her chair, and the neutral line of her mouth slowly curves into something like a smile. Soul transmigration, is it? The next morning, I'm unhurriedly finishing off a scallion roll when Claire suddenly looks up as if something has caught her interest. What kind of stories do you write? My hand stills mid-bite. What do I write? All kinds, really. I never stick to just one genre. I want to write everything, but if I had to pick, transmigration stories are my favorite. The wilder the concept, the better. Do you think transmigration is real? I think so. Nobody really knows what this world is at its core. Sometimes we feel like we're living in a very real world. It might just be a world someone else wrote into existence. Who knows what the world really is? If we can't even confirm the nature of the world we live in, how can anyone say transmigration doesn't exist? A world written into existence? Of course, in someone else's story we might just be nameless background characters. So if you had transmigrated, what do you think your previous life would have been like? A pretty happy one, I'd imagine. Parents who loved each other, only child, free to do whatever I wanted. Maybe they'd pass away suddenly, but I'd have studied what I loved, never went hungry or went broke, life was decent overall. And the transmigration itself, probably getting stabbed to death trying to save someone. A very unlucky way to go. That is really unlucky. It's a reminder to think before acting. Even good intentions need to come with a sense of your own limits. Absolutely, that's genuinely important. We don't bring it up again after that. After breakfast, Claire heads out, and I stay in and write. Claire doesn't come home for lunch, so I happily order delivery. After eating, I tidy up and take out the trash. In the afternoon, I ship out the latest round of sales as usual, then head out to pick up groceries. Walking through the supermarket, it suddenly occurs to me. Life right now isn't all that different from my previous one. I'm still turning that over when a woman nearby speaks up. Hey, aren't you that young man from last time, the one that awful woman came after? Out grocery shopping too? Oh, it's you! Just picking up some things for dinner. Good for you, not many young people cook these days. Your wife is a lucky woman. Not at all, she's out working all the time, so I've just been picking up the slack at home. If anyone's lucky, it's me. A person who knows how to be grateful will always live well. At your age, thinking this way is rare and precious. If your wife shares that same spirit, your life together can only get better. I smile and pick out a good head of cauliflower, then turn toward the tomatoes, and find Claire already standing beside me. What are you doing here? I finished early, so I came to pick a few things up. I happen to see you. Do you need any hand? I'm fine, only 4 things in my hands and none of it's heavy. Go do your own shopping. Later, I spot some good tomatoes and think about making sweet and sour ribs. After all, Claire does seem to enjoy sour flavors. We end up buying a whole range of ingredients and a fair bit of snacks, and swing by for some printer paper too. Then we head to the checkout together. Oh, young man, we meet again. And this must be your wife. She is so pretty. She is. This is my wife. I have never in my life seen a girl this beautiful. She's prettier than any actress. No wonder you wouldn't leave her. That woman who came after you before, there is no comparison at all, not even close in looks, and her demeanor is completely lacking. I don't know how she had the nerve to approach you. I suck in a breath, my heart climbing into my throat. Claire looks over at me with a meaningful expression. I laugh awkwardly. You're absolutely right, that woman was no good. Even if I lost my mind completely, I wouldn't have anything to do with someone like that again. She had nothing but bad intentions coming to find me. Fortunately, I'm not as easy to fool as I used to be. The cashier runs the card and returns it with both hands. Your card, sir. I pay and quickly bid farewell to the woman. Goodbye. Then I hustle out of the supermarket alongside Claire. Outside, I start explaining. I think you probably already know that before we got married, I had a girlfriend. Her name was Rosie Lowe. Back in college, I didn't know better, didn't understand how people could be, so I fell for someone like her. But after we got married, I cut off all contact with her completely. That day, she showed up right as I was leaving the supermarket. I knew immediately she wasn't there for anything good, so when she asked me to go with her, I turned her down on the spot. That woman just now was one of the locals who helped set her straight that day. Claire nods. Rosie Lowe, second daughter of the Lowe group. I've heard she's notoriously stingy. That's putting it mildly. She put on this polished, high-achieving act, and back then, Ethan, I thought she was this impressive senior I could look up to, so I felt a bit inferior around her. Then I found out she'd been saying she was actually interested in one of my classmates, and I was just something to pass the time. Even talking about it now gets my blood up. People like her are the worst. Just keep your distance from now on. I definitely won't engage with her. Giving someone like that the time of day is a waste of a life. Back home, I put everything away and start cooking. Claire steps into the kitchen. Need any help? I nearly jump out of my skin. I wave her off quickly. No, I've got it covered. You have enough on your plate. Go do your thing. I'll call you when it's ready. Claire nods and steps out. I tie on my apron and get back to it. When everything is ready and on the table, I knock on her door. Claire lets go of her mouse and closes everything on the screen, then comes out to eat. We usually don't have much to say to each other. I can't muster the energy to start anything. But today is different. Claire speaks the moment she sits down. Someone's coming tomorrow to install the dishwasher. My chopsticks pause mid-reach. A dishwasher? You bought one? I thought I was gonna pick one out myself? You said you were particular about these things. I figured I'd just pick one and save you the trouble. All you need to do is use it. I give in with a sigh. Alright, I'll try to stay in tomorrow. The topic drops and we go back to eating when my phone rings. That'll be Jasper Lane. You can agree to meet him. I blink, momentarily thrown. Why is Claire telling me to meet Jasper? The voice on the other end keeps going. Ethan, don't let what happened turn you against everyone. Not everyone is out to kick you while you're down or enjoy watching you struggle. Even if I can't do much, I can at least talk with you, give you somewhere to put it all. You've been carrying all of this for so long. Are you really going to keep bottling it up? In the original Ethan's life, Jasper always played the role of the understanding older brother figure. The original Ethan would tell him everything, which is exactly why whenever Jasper asked something of him, the original Ethan would go along with it. And that's why, faced with my cool indifference, Jasper assumes I'm just being sulky. Fine. Since you put it that way, I'll come. I want to see what you actually have to say. I've caught Claire's signal, so I agree to meet him, even if it's reluctantly. The voice on the other end sounds genuinely pleased. We exchange a few more words and hang up. Why did you want me to meet him? Claire sets down her chopsticks. Jasper never does anything without a reason. Before, when he contacted you, it was to extract information about my movements. Now that you've supposedly lost your usefulness to him, he's still reaching out. That means he's found another angle, something about you he thinks he can use. If you don't go, he'll just find another way to get what he wants. I get it immediately. The unspoken logic is if I can't avoid it, I might as well be the one who controls when and how it happens. Sure enough, she follows it up with, at any given moment, having some control over the situation is always better than having none. And knowing someone is working against you, and staying guarded, is better than being played without ever seeing it coming. I see. It's not that the logic is lost on me, it's just that my old life never required me to think this way. I haven't fully settled into this role yet, let alone this world. But Claire, who rarely says more than necessary, is suddenly saying all of this. Is she teaching me? Across the table, Claire has already picked her chopsticks back up and is eating with her usual unhurried grace. From where I'm sitting, she looks as elegant and composed as always, like the fact that people are scheming against her doesn't trouble her in the slightest. Right, scheming against her. Because honestly, as far as I can tell, there's nothing about me, as the original Ethan, that's worth targeting. The only one here worth going after is Claire herself. Claire's only instruction about the meeting with Jasper is to keep it casual, avoid sensitive topics, and report back afterward. I nod and make a mental note. Jasper has chosen a well-known cafe in the city center. When I get his message, I look it up briefly online. The cheapest thing on the menu is over 200 yuan. When have I ever spent money like that? On the day of the meeting, I take the time to put myself together properly. I know I'll probably get mocked no matter what, but at least no one can say I showed up looking unkempt. What I don't expect is for Jasper's very first words to still be mocking. Ethan, I know you feel bad right now. You've always had too much pride, but you're in a tough spot now. There's no need to put on a front for me. I'm not going to think less of you. If I didn't know better, I might actually believe he meant it. The fact that he can say this and hold such a convincing look of concern and goodwill, that takes real skill. You're too kind, Jasper. No matter how hard things get, a man can't stop caring about his appearance. I'm good looking. Letting that go to waste would be a crime. Youth doesn't last forever, so every day counts. Besides, with my natural advantages, not making the most of them would just be disrespecting what gods gave me. He handed me the blade first. I'm not the type to take things lying down, I drive it straight back. Alright, our Ethan is always the best looking one. Come on, let's go sit down. I know you've been having a hard time. Let's talk it out over some tea. I may not be able to do much, but I can at least hear you out. Get it all out, you'll feel better for it. He keeps the smile firmly in place. Later, we're led by a server to a private room with the best view. I take it in and think, this is what money looks like. No comparison to the little tea houses I usually end up in. That courtyard alone, no ordinary designer could have pulled that off. Jasper notices me staring at the courtyard and assumes I'm pining for the life I used to have. He smirks inwardly, but his voice remains gentle. Ethan, what would you like to drink? I snap back to attention, eyes lighting up, and immediately rattle off a list of names. Every signature item from this place that I'd looked up online. Ethan, are you sure you can get through all of that? I know exactly what he's thinking. He must be thinking, why have I suddenly thrown all pride out the window and started ordering like a man who hasn't eaten in weeks? But I have no intention of explaining myself. Whatever I can't finish, I'll take home, not a problem. Take it home? You'd actually pack up leftovers from a place like this? You're really that short on food? Of course, not packing up leftovers is wasteful. I'm not who I used to be, so naturally I make the most of things. Frugality is a time-honored virtue after all. What's the matter, Jasper? Do you have some objection to that particular virtue? Jasper opens his mouth and finds he has absolutely nothing to say to that. He blinks for a moment, then manages, "You're right. I think so too. I really was far too extravagant before. Buying luxury goods I'd never even use. A waste of money and a waste of time and energy on top of it. If I'd put that time into something meaningful instead, imagine. There are so many people in this world who need help. How did I never see that before? That money could have supported children in underprivileged communities. Anything would have been better than buying luxury items to sit in a drawer. By the way, Jasper, someone as kind and admirable as you must donate to those causes quite regularly, right? Jasper is genuinely gifted at spinning narratives and managing his image, but charity? That's a fantasy. He's not that generous. He barely has enough money for his own lifestyle. The idea of voluntarily giving any away is laughable. However, he smiles with complete sincerity. Of course, when I have time, I make a point of helping those who need it. My parents raised me to always share what I have and look out for others. Jasper assumes I'm about to take the conversation in that direction, but I pivot. So if you're that generous to complete strangers, then surely, given how long we've known each other, how close we are, now that I'm struggling, now that I'm one of those people who needs help, you'll do something for me, won't you? What? He's caught completely off guard. Of all the things he never expected that I, who had always cared so much about face, would suddenly say something like this. Jasper, you have no idea how miserable my life is now. I can't buy clothes or watches just staring at my wife's cold face every day. I can't even bring up money. And when I called everyone, I know, no one picks up. Watching a shift pass over his expression. I get up and move to sit right beside him, grab his hand, and hold on tight, no wiggle room. You're the only one, Jasper. The only one who still came to find me. You're the only person I can turn to. You throw around 200,000 or 300,000 like it's nothing. Surely you can't be stingy with an old friend? You'll help me, right? We're practically brothers. I hold his hand firmly, voice completely earnest. He still hasn't responded. I add one more line. Come to think of it, I haven't caught up with any of the women we both know yet. That last words hits exactly Jasper right where it hurt. He was anxious. Every woman he's ever had his eye on has shown zero interest in him. Although he projects a clean, upright image, plenty of people know better, and no amount of image management has managed to fully bury it. In the end, his family came up with a solution. Keep a low profile and wait for people's memories to fade. The reason he reached out to me this time is to get something done, specifically to show off his value in front of a woman he's currently pursuing. Ethan, what are you talking about? Look at us. What kind of relationship do we have? How could I possibly sit by and watch you suffer? Didn't I come straight to find you the moment I got back? You know me, I've always been soft-hearted. Watching a stranger struggle is hard for me, let alone you. Don't worry. I may not have a lot on hand, but 100,000 is nothing. I'll transfer it to you right now. Think of it as emergency funds and don't even think about saying no. Alright, but after Claire went bankrupt, How have things been between you two? How would I know? You know me, my degree had nothing to do with business. Even if she told me everything, I wouldn't understand any of it. Anyway, we still have food to eat for now. She's always busy. What exactly she's busy with, I have no idea. Asking wouldn't help anyway, so I stopped asking. I was going to file for divorce, but then she told me there were no debts, so I figured why not just keep going. I heard Rosie came to find you. She did, but she's not a good person either. Even at my lowest, I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of someone like her. So I made a big show of standing by Claire. Drove Rosie absolutely crazy. She couldn't measure up to Claire before, and she still can't. I'm nobody special, but the fact that Claire treated me decently even at her lowest tells you everything about her character. I'd rather put my faith in someone decent than in someone rotten. But maybe Rosie only realized her true feelings after she lost you, and you're not someone who's used to hardship. How long can you really keep living like this? Honestly, it's not as bad as you might think. Back when I had money, there was always some drama, always a cluttered head. The only relief was buying more things. Now it's quieter. I do what I want. I'm not someone who can't handle a simpler life. Before college, wasn't this just how things were? So this is fine. I have no complaints. I just need to figure out how to earn more going forward. You're going to get a job? How would that work? What would you even do? Imagine running into people you know while working a cash register or stocking shelves. Moreover, good jobs are hard to come by. You'd be left with unskilled work. Could you really handle that? What's so hard about it? I may not have worked before, but I graduated from a reputable university. I can learn. I have the basic qualities, English, professional skills. I've got them. Jasper suddenly remembers that I did actually earn my place at a famous university, and then met Claire and Rosie after. In comparison, his own academic record was nothing to speak of, and he had to be sent abroad by his family just to come back with a presentable credential. The thought puts him in a foul mood, but he still refuses to concede. A degree matters, sure, but so does experience. Starting from scratch now, you'd be behind every fresh graduate out there. It won't be easy. I'll give it a try. Since I could get into a top university, adjusting to entry-level work can't be harder than the National College Entrance Exam. Oh, look at me, why am I even bringing this up in front of you? It's fine, Jasper, you wouldn't know about any of this, which is completely understandable. You've never had to work after all. I genuinely envy you. At home, you rely on your family. In the future, you'll rely on your wife, and you never have to do a single thing for yourself. Just coast through life. That sounds like absolute bliss. In other words, he is a useless deadweight who can't survive without someone propping you up. Jasper works very hard to keep his face neutral. Inside, he is seething. No wonder this guy's life is a mess. He has absolutely no tact. I, on the other hand, feel fantastic. We go back and forth like that, both fully aware of the game, but maintaining polite surfaces while landing jabs wherever we can. The difference is that everywhere Jasper pokes, it doesn't hurt me at all. But everywhere I poke him, it's a sore spot. By the time we part, I'm in excellent spirits. However, Jasper looks like he's one comment away from an internal injury. I remind him about the transfer before I leave, knowing he'll need to use me again to do whatever it is he's planning. Jasper nods to show he understands, and then, with visible reluctance, transfers 100,000 yuan to my account. I walk away with the money and a very good mood. When I get home, Claire is sitting on the sofa with her laptop. She looks up at the sound of the door. I come in, change my shoes, swap my jacket, head to the bathroom to wash my hands, and through all of it I'm grinning. Clearly I'm in a great mood. You're back? Haha, I just walked out of there with 100,000 yuan for free. Pretty impressive, right? I wave my phone, which hasn't left my hand since I left, my tone dripping with a smugness I'm not even trying to hide. 100,000 from Jasper? Yep. He came in flexing his superiority and trying to fish for information. I redirected every single thing back at him. Then I played broke, heaped on the compliments, and backed him into a corner he couldn't get out of. Then I let it slip that if he didn't come through, I might just mention to mutual acquaintances how uncharitable he turned out to be. To protect his precious image, he had no choice but to cough up the cash. Claire suddenly remembers that the original Ethan used to blow money on bags without blinking. And now here's this person, this delighted over 100,000 yuan, which gives her a strange feeling. It's free money, why not take it? Getting anything out of Jasper is really not easy. Here, open your payment app, I'll transfer it to you. Think of it as Jasper paying back what he owed you from before. Take it and use it, don't worry about the household budget. Watching me hand it over so readily, Claire looks genuinely surprised. Is there something you need from me? No, there's nothing missing at home and nothing's broken. That's not what she meant, but looking at my expression, it's clear I haven't followed. And then she actually takes out her phone, opens the app, and holds it out to me. I naturally transfer the money, still barely warm from arriving in my account, to hers. As if giving it to her is the most obvious thing in the world. You're giving me money you just earned for free, doesn't that sting a little? It was always your money. The meals with Jasper back then, all paid for with your money. Now that we're tight, of course it goes back to you. I like money, sure, but I like earning my own even more. My writing income has already started coming in. With me around, you won't go hungry. Fine dining may be off the table, but plain porridge and simple sides, there'll always be enough. Well then, thank you. No need to thank me. You treated me well before, after all. Oh, by the way, I also brought back some things from the cafe, all untouched. Do you want some? Claire grew up in comfort, but she's never been someone who believes in waste. except when business calls for it. In the past, it was always just regular meals at home. The difference was that whoever cooked was very good at it. And she also had takeout containers during her school years. Yes. I honestly didn't expect her to say yes. I assumed she'd turn it down. I stumble a bit. Actually, I just remembered everything I packed is sweets. Is that alright? What's wrong with it? I go to get the bag from by the door. Opening it, it's indeed full of pastries and small cakes. Claire picks one up without ceremony and eats it. After swallowing, she gives her comment. These are better warm. You've had these before? She glances at me, unhurriedly pulls out a napkin, and wipes her hands. Grandpa used to love these. It comes back to me, old Master White had a fondness for them. Claire must have picked some up for him over the years, and he probably had her try one. I suddenly realize I've just brought up memories that might make her sad. I feel suddenly awkward. Sorry. You don't need to apologize. The past is separate from the present, there's nothing to be sorry for. Well, what do you want for dinner tonight? I'll make it. I still feel guilty. Claire was always so considerate toward the original Ethan. Moreover, since I arrived, she hasn't made things difficult for me once, and now I've gone and poked at an old wound, causing her emotional pain on top of everything she's already dealing with. That's too much. Anything is fine. I have something to take care of. I'm heading out shortly. I'll be back late. Go ahead. I'll have dinner waiting when you get back. Claire glances at me. She starts to say I don't need to wait, but then she sees the guilt still sitting on my face, and the refusal doesn't come. Alright, after Claire leaves, I think for a moment, then tidy up the apartment, do some writing, and head out to buy groceries. Around 8 o'clock, the door opens. I look up from my document. Claire is already stepping inside. I save the file. You're back. The food should still be warm. Are you hungry? Claire takes off her coat and hangs it up. The cold she carried in from outside dissolves almost immediately in the warmth of the room. She glances over and sees the food set out on the dining table, all covered to keep warm. She changes her shoes quickly. You've been waiting this whole time. You must be starving. Let me just wash my hands. I'm alright, not really hungry. I can't always make it back at a regular time. I'll let you know in advance when I won't be home. Eat when you're hungry, don't wait for me. Got it. I already know Claire isn't like other people with regular jobs, the kind who come home for dinner every day. If she's not coming back, honestly, it's a little easier for me. I can just throw something simple together for myself. Out of guilt, I've made tonight's dinner quite the spread. I even made steamed buns by hand, an impressive range, including scallion rolls, sweet-filled buns, cornbread buns, sweet potato rolls, all small and neat, each one probably gone in 2 or 3 bites. They look adorable on the plate. Claire picks up a scallion roll and finishes it in a few bites. She nods after swallowing. The buns are really good, right? I spent 3 or 4 days just figuring out the right ratios and timing. It took serious trial and error before I got them to where they are now. Scallion rolls and sweet-filled buns are my favorites. My friends always loved them too, whenever I had time to spare. I stopped mid-sentence. Oh no. I got a little too excited and almost let something slip. The skill really shows. Are those friends from university? Yeah, friends from university. We kinda lost touch after, and I haven't made steamed buns in ages. Didn't expect the skill to still be there. Fortunately, the wealthy heiress didn't read into it further. One wrong thread and the whole thing unravels. I breathe a quiet sigh of relief, completely missing the look of keen interest on the face across from me. By the way, I've been simmering the chicken soup for a good while today. Make sure you drink plenty. Okay. My chicken soup has always turned out well, and Claire genuinely enjoys it. Restaurant soups always seem to be missing something, but the soup I make has just the right balance of flavors. Claire knows it herself. It's not really about the flavor. It's the feeling of someone taking the time to make it for her. When Claire was little, her mother used to make chicken soup for her too. It never tasted particularly good, but her mother always insisted it was good for growing children, so Claire's father would make sure. She finished every last drop. After her parents died in an accident, she tried all kinds of chicken soup. The chefs, the housekeepers from the White family, all of them studied and tried. None of them could recreate it. As she got older, Claire stopped showing any particular feeling about chicken soup, and everyone forgot. Claire thinks the reason she's been so tolerant of the man in front of her probably has something to do with this. Something about him now and then reminds her of her mother. Why are you staring at me? Is there something on my face? I only then realize Claire has been staring at me this whole time. Does she not realize how much pressure that puts on a person? Or has she noticed something? Off again. You're getting dark circles. What? I get up and peer into the mirror for a long moment. There does seem to be a faint shadow forming under my eyes. So the beginning of dark circles? The thought sends a shiver down my spine. Claire had only mentioned it in passing. She clearly didn't expect me to have such a reaction. After a while, with no sign of me, she calls out, "What's wrong? Are you done eating?" The words are barely out when I sheepishly reappear, probably from staying up late to write, getting a bit worse. A few dark circles don't change anything. You're still very good looking. Hearing Claire say that so unexpectedly sends a flush creeping across my cheeks. After dinner, I get up to clear the table, and Claire stops me. "Let me do it tonight." No, I've got it. I take the dishes right out of her hands and head to the kitchen at brisk pace. Claire laughs quietly, shakes her head, and lets me go. Passing through the living room, she notices my laptop still open on the coffee table, document up, and on a whim she goes over to take a look. I come out having finished everything in the kitchen, and walk into a scene that stops me cold. Claire is sitting on the sofa with perfect posture, chin resting in one hand, reading my story with complete focus. "Don't read that!" I practically lunge across the room. Why not? It's not very good. Alright then, I won't. I'm quietly second-guessing whether I overreacted, when she pauses at her bedroom door, and says out of nowhere, "Honestly, I think it's a bit much that the female lead constantly drops everything at the company to spend time with the male lead. If she's running a company, she simply wouldn't have that kind of time." Then she goes into her room and closes the door behind her, leaving me sitting exactly where she was sitting, completely speechless. She read at least 2 chapters. The 2 most dramatic chapters I'd written. Having my story critiqued doesn't bother me at all. I just want to clarify, this is a romance novel, and romance takes priority over realism. If I wrote a CEO story with true-to-life accuracy, it would be full of problems and no one would want to read it. But she doesn't know anything about web fiction, and there's no point trying to explain. A few days later, Claire has finished breakfast, but hasn't left yet when there's a knock at the front door. I've just finished the dishes and come out, so I go to answer it. Who is it? Strange, who comes this early? Whoever it is doesn't answer, just keeps knocking. I check through the peephole. 2 young women are standing outside. Both of them are striking. The kind of effortless elegance that could put either of them on a screen. Clearly not ordinary people. My heart does an uneasy little drop. I turn and knock on Claire's bedroom door. Someone's at the door, I think they might be here for you. Claire lets go of her mouse and comes out. She finds me looking genuinely worried. There are 2 women out there who are clearly not ordinary people. I don't recognize either of them, see if they're here for you. What I don't say is that I'm afraid they might be here to cause trouble. My mind is already running through scenarios, what if they actually are? Outside, Tina pauses her knocking and turns to Fiona beside her. You're sure you have the right place? This is where Claire lives now? Why isn't anyone answering? What if she's out? I thought she and Ethan hadn't divorced yet. Is he not here either? Don't ask me, I told you we didn't need to come and you wouldn't listen. Claire has been always busy recently. You're perfectly fine, she's not going to drop everything just because you showed up. I still need to see her. It's been a whole year. And she's had the worst luck lately, I can't settle down until I see her with my own eyes. She pouts and stubbornly resumes knocking. No, this time she's actually banging on it. The door swings open. What are you 2 doing here? Come in. Claire, I've missed you so much, your little sister's back. Tina cries out with delight, launches herself at Claire, throws her arms around her, then lets go. Good to have you back. As expected, Claire, you are the one Tina actually cares about, the rest of us are just extras. Get inside. I stand behind them, completely stunned. Could these 2 actually be some of Claire's closest friends? Tina bounces inside cheerfully and runs straight into my blank, bewildered face. She blinks. Her finger goes up. Why is there a man here? Wait, are you Ethan? What are you doing here? Why wouldn't I be? Claire, fine, you haven't divorced, but you're actually living together. We're not living together. Would you prefer us sleep on the street? You talk so much. Ethan and Claire are not divorced. Of course they're living together. What's strange about that? Come sit down. Tina opens her mouth, but she can't quite manage a smile in my direction, so she resorts to pretending I don't exist. She makes her way to the sofa and takes a seat. Fiona gives me a brief nod and does the same. I go to the kitchen and bring out tea for them. When I come back, all 3 women are seated, and both of the others have their eyes fixed on Claire in loaded silence, which makes me desperately want to disappear. I actually have something to take care of this morning, so I'll head out and leave you all to it. I won't be home for lunch. Got it? I head straight to my room, throw on a jacket, grab a few things and get out fast. The moment Claire said that, Tina has been staring at her with an expression of pure disbelief. The second I close the door behind me, she says with an indescribable expression, "Home for lunch? Claire, are you calling this place home?" The question catches even Claire off guard for a moment before she smooths back to calm. I've been eating here lately. He cooks well. Claire, you're seriously planning to keep living with him? Apart from his looks, he has nothing going for him. It's not like good looking. Men are hard to find. I refuse to believe you'd keep him around for his face. If that were the reason, it would have happened long ago. So what is it? Frankly, in all the years I've known him, I haven't seen anyone in the same category who comes close. And people change. Don't judge someone by who they used to be. You didn't know him well before you left the country, and you haven't had any contact since you got back. Where does the confidence to judge come from? And finally, do you think Claire is an idiot? If she's been this patient with Ethan, there's a reason. Don't forget, in the eyes of the world, Claire is broke, and Ethan is still here. Doesn't that strike you as worth noticing? When Fiona had done the background research for Claire before, she'd gone through it carefully and come to a very strange conclusion. Her guess was that Claire was keeping him close to watch. After all, an open threat is easy to dodge, it's the hidden ones that get you. But before Tina can even nod to show she understands, Claire says something that surprises them both. It's not as complicated as you're making it. He has changed. Things are good between us now. The reason we're here is that there was nowhere else to go. These days he keeps himself occupied, earns his own money and cooks. He says it feels like the life he had before university. But then why won't he divorce you? His fresh start has nothing to do with staying married to you, does it? So why is he still here? There are other reasons, you don't need to know them. Just be civil to him going forward. He's not as bad as you think. Tina starts to push further, but Fiona cuts her off. Claire knows what she's doing. We don't need to worry. If Ethan isn't what we assumed, then we'll be polite to him from now on. Tina, I'm just saying. I know you're close with Claire. Can you please stop getting worked up every single time something involves Claire? Stop picking up bad habits from Vera, or you're going to lose your mind. I'm nothing like her. That little airhead and I are not the same. You're getting closer by the day. Remember when I told Vera not to go looking for Claire at that reception, and she went anyway? She almost caused a scene. You two are exactly the same, just in different packaging. That's completely different. I just got back, I didn't have the full picture. And you never explain things properly, always half a sentence and then nothing. I'm amazed I haven't lost my mind. My patience is truly exceptional. Tina glares at Fiona. Fiona returns it with a light, unbothered laugh. Enough of that. Now that you're back, are you joining the family company? I don't want to, but my father is insisting. You both know I have absolutely no interest in the auto industry. It's driving me crazy. You may not be interested, but talent doesn't care. You were spotting engineering flaws in your father's new car models back in high school. Did you really think he was going to let that go? He probably wakes up laughing at the thought of having a daughter born perfectly suited to carry on the family business. Someone save me. If I'd known my father was that calculating, I never would have fallen into his trap. My brief window of freedom is closing fast. My poor little food venture, he's going to swallow that up too. What really gets me is that he never once let on that he had a thing for food. He hid it for years. Years. The man is terrifying. Having an elder pushing you forward is its own kind of blessing. Your father has put a lot of thought into you. Treasure that. I was simply not born with your ability to appreciate refined culture, Claire. Every tea tastes the same to me. Knocking it back in one go at least feels satisfying. Isn't that the better way? Haha. Fair point. If it feels good, that counts for something. Tina takes the teasing completely in stride. Not everyone is born with a cultured soul. It is no big deal. I was never going to be Claire anyway. Anyway, Claire, what are you actually going to do? I refuse to believe Victor Cross is that good. How can one person anticipate everything and always get there first? Are you absolutely sure there's no leak on your end? Hearing this, the faint smile on Claire's face disappears. She thinks for a moment. I don't know where the problem is. Even when I haven't told anyone the plan, he still finds out. A simple leak doesn't explain it. As she speaks, both Tina and Fiona listen intently. Do you want me to sweep your things again? There might be some surveillance tech I missed before. I don't think that's it. I tried staying somewhere else with nothing from before, different clothes, different everything. It didn't make any difference. Does he actually have some kind of sixth sense? Even the eldest sister couldn't do anything? No, we worked together against him. Traps, direct confrontation, everything. He avoided all of it. Then somehow he connected himself to the Quinn family. Old Master Quinn personally stepped in to mediate, which was effectively a warning to us. Old Master Quinn? How is that possible? Hasn't he been out of these younger generation squabbles for years? Victor is disgusting. If he is going to fight, just fight. Bringing in outside support is low. This isn't a schoolyard scuffle where everyone fights fair. I can't stand it. Why would old Master Quinn help him? I've never heard of old Master Quinn being particularly charitable. Apparently Victor's wife happened to save old Master Quinn's life at some point, and old Master Quinn took quite a liking to her. But why does he have to go after Claire specifically? Claire has so many industries. Even if he pushes his construction business as hard as he can, it doesn't even overlap with most of what she does. Claire looks at the two of them, both visibly troubled, and suddenly smiles. Alright, isn't things actually better now? Stop worrying. Now that I have nothing, I can finally see what he actually wants. With nothing to my name, I can finally find out whether he's specifically targeting me, or simply looking to absorb assets and further his own ambitions. So Claire, are you planning to focus entirely on the tech sector going forward? The investment required is enormous. There's no telling when it'll pay off. Tech is the best industry for the future. I've wanted to restructure and upgrade for a long time. Before, I had to account for dragging the rest of the White family along. They are simply a group of leeches. Now that burden is gone. It's actually easier this way. Even if it did indirectly let you shed a burden, you still suffered real losses. That's undeniable. Once I take over the family business, I'll go after him for you. I refuse to believe he can foresee every single move. Don't make things more complicated. After you take over the family business, you'll need time just to learn the ropes. By the time you're ready, Claire will have already rebuilt. Just focus on your own lane. Claire has more sense than either of us. And if it comes to it, we're still here. After all these years of running nonstop, I finally get to breathe. What's the rush? Claire, how are you not even a little bit anxious? When has Claire ever been anxious? Fair point. I've never actually seen her panic. Alright then, Claire, just call me whenever you need anything. I'll be there. The three of them talk a while longer, then leave together. I come back in the afternoon to an empty apartment. I let out a breath of relief. Claire's friends are formidable, every single one of them, and they made their dislike of me perfectly clear. That kind of atmosphere is genuinely exhausting. I said I had something to deal with. I didn't. It was just an excuse to leave. And once I was out, I had nowhere to actually go. So I ended up at an internet cafe and wrote. The girl playing games next to me kept glancing over. She kept losing, over and over. By the time she finally worked up the nerve to strike up a conversation with me, I'd already moved to a different computer. However, I chose a new seat. The same thing happened. The girl next to my seat drifted over and tried to chat, asking what brought me here to write of all places, as if hoping to absorb some kind of positive energy from me. I had absolutely no idea what to do with that. Back home, I finally feel like I can relax. I change clothes, stretch out properly, and bounce my way onto the sofa. A thought crosses my mind. A shower sounds good. I check Claire's message on my phone. She won't be back until late tonight. So I make a beeline for the bathroom and take a long, satisfying hot shower. I towel dry my hair first, then brew some lemon tea and pull out the snacks I bought earlier. I sink happily into the sofa, think for a moment, and I decide, no writing tonight. I open the laptop, find the film I've been meaning to watch, and settle in with genuine contentment. As it plays, I alternate between grabbing handfuls of snacks and sipping my tea. There is no greater pleasure in life than having nothing pressing to do. Showered, hair dried, snacks in hand, film on screen. This is genuinely the most at ease I've felt since arriving in this world. As the film builds toward its climax, I'm completely absorbed. I've forgotten where I am entirely. Right as a door slams open on screen, a very real door opens behind me. The sound editor would be in trouble for this one. The timing is terrible. Did you not eat lunch? Claire's voice suddenly comes from the doorway. I flinch so hard. The crisps in my hand scatter across my folded legs. I look up to find Claire standing there with a slight frown. She's a few steps away, head tilted slightly, eyes fixed on me. No, on my now empty hands. From her perspective, a man a few steps away, eyes wide, frozen like a startled small animal, for example, a koala, she thinks. You weren't supposed to be back until late tonight. I finally find my voice, embarrassment written all over my face, the words coming out with an unmistakable note of accusation. Claire steps into her slippers and comes inside. She looks away as she speaks. I finished early. Tina wanted us to come see her company, but her father called her in suddenly, so she had to go deal with that first. The company visit also got shelved. After all, it's not going anywhere. We'll see it eventually. You didn't eat lunch? I pinch the corner of the chip bag and very carefully try to slide it out of sight, smiling. Of course I ate. I was just watching a film with some snacks. As I say it, I slide the bag under the table and immediately drop it into the bin. In the original Ethan's memories, Claire has never touched snacks, so eating them in front of her gives me this feeling of being embarrassingly out of place. That's all junk. Try not to eat too much of it. Yes, I know, I only have it occasionally. So are you staying in home for dinner? At the word home, something flickers briefly in Claire's expression. Yes, I'd already been mentally planning what to order tonight. It looks like I'm cooking after all. The film isn't finished. Shower was wasted. All that happiness for nothing. The great highs and lows of life always arrive without warning. What's wrong? Claire pours herself a glass of water and tilts her head at me, noticing that I look genuinely pitiful. Nothing. What do you want for dinner? Whatever you feel like making. I'll make meatball soup. There's quite a bit of soy pulp left from this morning's soy milk. I was gonna fry up some balls tonight and have the soup tomorrow morning. But since you're back, I'll just make it now. Alright, I'll go take care of some things. Go ahead, I'll call you when it's ready. Once Claire goes back to her room, I glance at the laptop screen. I catch a faint reflection of myself in the dark screen. And that's when it hits me that, in all the chaos of hiding the snacks, I forgot that my hair is a complete mess. That explains the look she gave me. I scramble off the sofa, bolt to the bathroom, and drag a comb through my hair with urgent, vigorous strokes. My inner voice is screaming, why did I let myself go like that? Have I never heard of Murphy's Law? And now Claire has seen me like that. I want to crawl into the wall. Thinking Claire standing there looks absolutely flawless as always, I almost want to slam my head against the mirror. I don't usually care that much about my appearance, but something about Claire makes me feel like if I'm not properly groomed, I'll instantly be reduced to nothing standing next to her. I strongly suspect this is part of why so many people resent her. The people she moves among are all wealthy and powerful, and most of them are second-generation heirs who grew up surrounded by privilege. They're used to feeling superior to most people they encounter. However, there's this one person who walks into any room and instantly reduces everyone else to background noise. Who wouldn't find that unsettling? Back then, the reason the original Ethan never even considered going after Claire was exactly that he simply didn't have the nerve. Well, now I'm about to go cook dinner for that walking work of art, and I should do it properly. Then I'll have to sit across from her and eat, maintaining my composure in the face of that effortless magnetism. Frying meatballs always fills everything with the smell of hot oil. I stand at the stove with full concentration, hands moving efficiently, squeezing ball after ball into the oil, the whole apartment filling with a rich, deep fragrance. An hour later, Claire comes out of her room. The moment she opens the door, the smell of fried food hits her, along with a faint sound from the kitchen. She follows it and finds me at the stove with a look of total focus. My hands move with practiced ease, a nameless little tune humming from my lips, the picture of someone entirely content. Golden meatballs come out one by one little cutie out of the pan, and a whole crowd of little cuties queuing up to go in. Yes, you're all adorable little meatballs, and I'm sure you'll taste wonderful. I'll take good care of you and turn you into a delicious soup. Your efforts won't be wasted. Someone who can make cooking this entertaining. He's the only one she's ever seen. Curiosity gets the better of her. She folds her arms and leans against the doorframe, watching to see what comes next. I don't disappoint. With only a few meatballs left, I lift them out and turn to chop the vegetables, still talking to myself. You're little cuties too. Looking so fresh and lovely, you must have worked very hard to get here. I'll treat you well, you have my word, you'll float beautifully on top of the soup. Your existence will not have been in vain. I'm happily lost in my own little monologue, mind half drifting through story ideas, when I turn and nearly walk into a real live person standing in the doorway. I stumble back 2 steps, foot slipping, the whole of me tipping backward. Claire startles too. She reaches out instinctively to catch me. Before she gets there, I catch the edge of the sink behind me and steady myself. Her hand lands at my waist. An inexplicable warmth, like a brief, startling burn, sends an involuntary shiver through me before I can stop it. Why did you just appear like that? I nearly fell. Did you need something? Nothing. I just came out for water and heard sounds from the kitchen, so I came to check. I was just humming, or cooking on my own gets a bit dull. The meatballs are done. They are. Do you want to try one? Claire hesitates. Right, how did I forget? She doesn't eat fried food. These smell wonderful, but fried food isn't healthy for you. If you're not hungry yet, just wait a little longer. Not healthy? Even if Claire doesn't usually pay attention to this kind of thing, she knows fried food is just a bit oily, not exactly harmful. She steps closer. How do you eat them? It takes me a second to process, and then I realize she actually wants to try one. I automatically hold out the chopsticks. Claire takes them and glances down, and notices they've already been used. She pauses. What's wrong? Nothing. She hands them back. While I'm still looking at her blankly, she reaches out and picks up a meatball with her fingers and pops it into her mouth. My jaw drops. The wealthy heiress just picked up food with her bare hands? The meatball is fresh and steaming. She bites into it, and a full warm wave of soy fragrance and fried richness spreads through her mouth. The heat catches her off guard and she draws in a sharp breath. But it's delicious. We are standing close to begin with. Claire is right in front of me. After finishing the meatball, she steps back slightly. Out of the corner of her eye, she catches me staring blankly at her. She tilts her head. What? Her face turning toward me so suddenly startles me again. Fortunately, this time my feet don't slip when I step back, but my back slams straight into the wall behind me. Nothing. Were they good? Very delicious. If you have nothing else, you should head back out. It's oily in here. The meatballs are all done, and the soup won't take long. Go ahead, I'll call you when it's ready. By the time the meatball soup is finally done, every trace of my earlier good mood has evaporated. Claire can clearly tell I'm a little deflated. I ladle her a bowl loaded with everything, and pour myself one that's mostly broth. Didn't you fry a whole batch of meatballs? Why is your bowl almost empty? Is yours not enough? I look at her bowl, it's full. That should be plenty for her usual appetite. Is she unusually hungry today? She extends one slender finger toward my bowl. Yours? Oh, I was around the fumes too long. I've lost my appetite for it. What I will absolutely not admit is that I weighed myself before calling her for dinner, and I'm up 2 pounds from a few days ago. Claire doesn't press it, but as she eats, she notices that I keep drifting off, staring at her bowl with an expression that unmistakably says, I really want some. Combined with my habit of weighing myself before meals, it clicks for her. You ate too many snacks today. Not a question, a statement of fact. I feel like someone just stabbed me in the heart. I deny it anyway. No, I didn't. Claire says nothing, just glances at me. Fine, I did have some snacks, but it was only a bowl of jelly, a box of biscuits, a small bag of popcorn, and half a bag of crisps. Saying it out loud, that does sound like a lot, but surely all of that together doesn't weigh 2 pounds. Snacks are full of additives. You really should cut back. If you're craving something, go out and have the real thing. Money isn't something you need to worry about. The last thing I expected was for Claire to say something like that. The small flicker of irritation I'd been feeling is immediately extinguished. The face across from me is as composed as always, but the care behind those words was completely genuine. Claire really is a good person. She was saying it out of genuine concern for me. Understood. I'll try to cut back from now on. Claire says nothing more. I eat my sparse bowl without complaint. After dinner and the dishes, I settle into my daily writing. But this time, Claire doesn't head straight back to her room. She comes out and sits beside me. I spoke to them today. They won't treat you the way they did this morning going forward. The misunderstanding they had about you has been cleared up. Next time they come, you don't need to make an excuse to leave. You mean you're close friends? Claire nods. It's fine. The misunderstanding doesn't matter to me. They're your friends, not mine. I don't mind. And honestly, it makes sense that they'd look down on me. I really am not the kind of person they would approve of. As long as we all stay out of each other's way going forward, that's good enough for me. When they come to see you, it's easier if I'm not around. You can all speak freely. Besides, I really did have things to do today. Alright, are you gonna keep writing tonight? Yes. Did you finish your film? Almost. I'll catch the rest another time. If you'd rather I not know what you're watching, you could get headphones. I quietly withdraw the hand that was reaching for my cup, and smile stiffly. Why would I care if you know? You're learned and well-read. Does that make you the authority on what's worth watching? She doesn't answer. Instead, she picks up my cup and hands it to me. If you want to write good fiction, just watching films isn't enough. You have to analyze them. I don't mind the noise. You can watch whenever you like. Okay, got it. Claire gets up and goes back to her room. I take a sip of water and set the cup down. I still don't see that film. No writing, no income, that's the math. Over the following days, Claire keeps her usual pattern, out early, back late. Our routine settles into breakfast together, dinner together, and everything in between spent doing our own things. Then one day Claire comes home in the afternoon. I'm in the middle of writing. I don't look up at the sound of the door, just say by habit, you're back. Then a familiar child's voice cuts through, not even attempting to hide the surprise and disdain. Why is he here? You two still haven't divorced? The voice belongs to the child of Claire's late cousin, who died in an accident with his wife. They'd been the people closest to Claire. After they were gone, Claire took in their son. His name is Luca. He's 8 years old, and he had nothing but disdain for the original Ethan. It wasn't exactly that he had something against the original Ethan personally. In fact, the original Ethan simply never had much warmth for children. So from the moment Luca came into his life, the original Ethan never once showed him a kind expression. That alone might have been forgivable. But there was one holiday when Luca was starving at home, and the chef happened to be sick and wasn't in. Luca kept asking desperately for something to eat. The original Ethan was busy running off to meet his fair weather friends. Without giving it a second thought, he ordered delivery food that was far too spicy, something a child simply could not eat, and Luca ended up sick for days afterward. Because of that, Claire cut off a significant portion of the original Ethan's spending. The two of them had despised each other ever since. That was how things stood when I arrived. I actually like children, but Luca may not feel the same about me. That opening line had already made his feelings perfectly clear. We haven't divorced, so of course he is here. Not only that, from now on you will be living with him too. He controls your food supply. What? Are you joking, Auntie? In the past, whenever Luca made his dislike of me known in front of Claire, she never said a word about it. As long as it wasn't too outrageous, she let it go entirely. So why is she responding differently now? Auntie, is what people are saying actually true? You really went broke and that's why you're putting up with him? I stay quiet, genuinely curious to hear what Claire will say. Claire calmly flicks Luca on the forehead with one finger. Watch how you talk. Being a child doesn't give you the right to say whatever you please. I really did go broke, which means you don't have a choice. Luca's mouth falls open. He stares for a full 3 seconds. Then he shakes his head furiously. Impossible. My dad always said you were the most capable person he knew. How could the most capable person go bankrupt? And your business was enormous. How could it all just be gone? Oh no, I haven't even grown up yet. How am I supposed to earn money and support the family? I'm basically still a baby, and now I have to be the breadwinner? What can I even do? I'm in 3rd grade. Maybe you could send me to be a child model. I've done runway training before, and I'm good looking, so someone would probably take me. Not a chance. You have no connections now. How do you think all those clearly unattractive child models get the work? They pick looks and background. Unfortunately, you no longer have the latter. You're lying. You know so many people, you've helped so many of them. Make them help you back. Then let this be a lesson you remember. Everyone loves a winner, but it takes a real friend to love a loser. When you help someone, don't expect them to return it. If they don't make things worse, that's already something. Claire follows him into the bathroom, her voice carrying through the door. So what do? We have to live here from now on, and we'll never eat good food or wear nice clothes again? The kids at school are saying I'll probably have to transfer soon, is that true? Yes, during holidays you'll be here with me. The food and clothes you're used to will mostly be gone. As for transferring, do you want to? Yes. My classmates are laughing at me. They think I don't know, I hear everything. But you won't be transferring right now. There is still 1 semester of tuition already paid. Afterward, Claire comes out with Luca and they sit on the sofa. I've been pretending to write this whole time, but I can't keep ignoring them. I quietly take out some tangerines and put them on the table in front of them. There is no other fruit in the house right now, this'll have to do. But they're all talking about me, it's awful. When you don't have power behind you, being talked about, even mocked, is just something that happens. But even when you're successful, and in a position of power, people will still talk and still laugh. And it'll be worse than now. If you become strong enough, they'll just make sure to do it where you can't hear. As she speaks, Claire peels a tangerine for Luca. You haven't greeted anyone yet. As Luca reaches for the tangerine, Claire tilts her head slightly toward me. Luca follows her gaze and looks over at me. His mouth opens, then stops. He hesitates, then asks Claire, what am I even supposed to call him? You can just call me Ethan. Okay, Ethan. Are you on holiday? What do you want to eat? I'll make it. You can cook? Then why didn't you before? He looks at me with wide, innocent eyes and asks the most pointed question imaginable. We had a cook before. Listen to him saying it like he's all impressive. Rice is fine. No problem. Just a few stir-fried dishes is enough. But I end up going a little further than that. While cooking, I put more care into it than usual. I make the rice and dishes as fun and child-friendly as I can. I've always liked children. Back in my previous life, I'd fool around with my friends' little ones all the time. So when I saw Luca just now, I liked him immediately. He's really adorable. If our history weren't what it is, I probably would have already gone over and hugged him. Claire takes Luca into her room. A while later, the food is ready, and I go to call them. Luca comes out already changed into pajamas, washes his hands without being told, and sits in the chair I set out for him. He sees the food on the table, and looks surprised. He points. You made all of this? I shaped the dishes into cheerful cartoon faces. Even the rice has a smiling face made out of egg. His portion only, of course. Claire's and mine are perfectly ordinary. Luca has his own special set. First day of the holidays, you get VIP treatment. I'll pick up a set of smaller cutlery for you too. The adult ones are awkward to use. You don't need to make special food for me. I'm not a little kid anymore. I don't need to be coaxed into eating. I eat normal food at school. I'm in 3rd grade. Even if you were in university, you'd still be a little kid to us. Besides, what I make is my call. You only get to decide whether to eat it. If you don't eat it, next time I'll make whatever you hate most. We're broke now, so if you don't eat what's in front of you, don't expect pocket money to buy something else. You'll just go hungry. You're so... What do you say when someone does something kind for you? Luca presses his lips together, then says politely, thank you, Ethan. I can't help ruffling his hair. Don't mention it. Luca clearly enjoyed it. He just insists on pretending he didn't. Such a little tsundere. But even that little act of his is adorable. You don't need to make him a separate dish going forward. Children from the White family aren't that delicate about food. Luca nods vigorously, declaring himself exactly that kind of child, and covers his head protectively at the same time. Whether he's delicate is his business, whether I choose to spoil him is mine. Luca, are you really so fragile that a cartoon face on your rice is going to ruin your character? Of course not. A bit of nice food isn't going to make me soft. Then I'll have to ask Luca to bear with my little indulgences. After all, I have no resistance to cute kids. And now that there is actually a child in the house, I finally have a reason to try making kids meals. So thank you for your assistance, Luca. You're welcome. Claire takes in the whole exchange without a word. She doesn't bring up the kids' meal again. The 3 of us start eating. Luca eats much faster than the original Ethan's memories suggest. Clearly he likes what's in front of him. After dinner I go to do the dishes as usual. Luca is even more astounded. You actually do chores too? We really must be broke. What can I do? Great highs and lows always arrive without warning. So work hard in school, otherwise you'll end up in the same situation. I'm top of my year. My school is one of the best in the country. I entered a competition this semester and my teacher says I can place first. And first place comes with prize money, 50,000 yuan I think. So we'll have money for food then. This is what it means to grow up wealthy, a prestigious school, and even elementary school competition prizes that high. I could enter more competitions. Before my auntie wouldn't let me in case it affected my studies, but now I should be able to. If I enter 4 competitions, that could be 200,000 yuan, then we would have money for food. Oh no, I don't have that kind of time. If I want to keep my grades up, I can probably only do 3 competitions. That's only 150,000. It's barely enough for food. 150,000 barely covers food? Do you know how many people don't earn 10,000 a month? 150,000 is a lot. 150,000 barely buys 2 of your watches. Is that really a lot? You used to eat shark fin. Do you know what a serving costs? What does someone else's income have to do with us? Are we supposed to live like them? Not having money is so terrifying. It turns someone who used to spend freely into a person who thinks 150,000 is plenty. How long has my auntie even been broke? You adapt to the situation you are in. When you're wealthy, you spend freely. When you're not, you live carefully. Even if you did win 150,000, you can't spend it all on food. Our standard of living is dropped. Of course the food follows. But even if it's home cooking every single day, you won't be malnourished. I promise. Just then Claire walks over with a glass of water and glances at Luca. Time for homework. Okay, I'm going. He turns so his back is to Claire and mouths "shat me," then heads into Claire's room. Where does he sleep at night? With you? Yes, I'll look into finding a bigger place to rent. She'd originally planned to have Luca join some program during the holidays, but he refused to go, so she brought him back. I choose my words carefully. About buying a house, have you given it any more thought? I've sold more watches recently, and some more clothes too. The down payment is definitely doable. We'll see. Well, since Luca will be here during holidays, we should look at 3-bedroom options. I have writing income now. I can handle the mortgage payments. Money isn't an issue. I'm worried Claire will stress about the cost and insist on something smaller than we need. After that, we have nothing more to say to each other, and we go back to our own things. Having a child in the apartment makes everything feel suddenly more alive, especially since Luca is not a shy child. Claire is out during the day, so it's just Luca and me. At first, we each keep to ourselves, but eventually boredom wins out. So Luca starts talking to me whenever he comes out to stretch his legs. He's a child after all. Sensible as he is, he can only sit still for so long once he realizes I am genuinely different from who I used to be, and that I actually treat him well. He stops being quite so distant. Why don't you divorce my auntie? She is really broke. I know it's weird, but it's true. Even if you stay, she's not going to give you money to spend like she used to. You just said yourself that she gave me a lot before, so shouldn't I be there for her now that things are hard? If I walked out now, wouldn't that make me a terrible person? Do you actually want me to leave her alone to take care of you? In that case, you'd be stuck on your own with no one to cook for you. That's not the point. I won't starve. I don't know what's going on with you. But you're not as bad as I thought. I used to really dislike you. Felt like all you knew how to do was spend money. My auntie married a walking credit card, but back then she had plenty of money, so it didn't really matter. It's a shame though, she could have done better, but at least now it seems you're not so bad after all. My parents told me before they died, don't judge people only by what I see on the surface. Look at character and heart. Your talent may not be great, but you don't run from things when they get hard, so your character is passable. I can't help messing up his hair again. You think about a lot for such a little person. None of this is your concern. All you need to do is study, play, and enjoy yourself every day. I don't need to worry about studying. I told you, I'm always first. Don't compare me to whatever kids you used to know. I'm a member of the elite IQ club. I pull back the tangerine I was about to give him and pop a segment into my own mouth, chewing slowly while looking at him. Has anyone told you that I also graduated from a top university? You? A top university? That's right, a key national university. The reason I married your auntie, and the reason I became the way I was, there were reasons for all of it. But I've figured things out now. I've gone back to being who I actually am. Understand? Then I hold the tangerine out to Luca again. He reaches for it and I pull it back. He grabs it. Nothing. Are you giving it to me or not? I press my lips together to hide a smile, and this time actually give it to him. Here you go. How do you feel about wontons for lunch? I'm already a bit hungry. Make plenty. Deal. I'll make sure you are well fed, young Master Luca. I save my document, get up, and head to the kitchen. Luca watches me walk to the kitchen with a look he doesn't even know is there. Something that could only be called longing. Since his parents died, he hasn't lived in a home that felt like this, warm and full of small living details. In Claire's villa before, there was no shortage of anything, and Claire was good to him, but it never quite felt like living. His heart was never really at rest. Now I care about him every day, and my attitude feels completely natural. And when he talks to me, it's like he's talking to family. He can say anything. For the first time in a long time, he feels like he has a home. He thinks he understands now why his auntie has been less cold toward this man. Claire notices that Luca is more and more at ease around me. In the evenings when she asks how his day went, he usually says it was good. Then one evening at dinner, I suddenly suggest I've got some free time these days and Luca has been stuck inside for ages. How about I take him to an amusement park tomorrow? Claire's chopsticks pause. She clearly sees Luca go rigid with barely contained excitement at my words, and she realizes Luca has been back for 5 days and hasn't gone outside once. All right, I'll rearrange tomorrow's schedule. I open my mouth and close it again. There's nothing I can say. I'd actually been planning to take Luca by myself, but now that Claire has said she is coming, I can hardly object. Luca, on the other hand, lights up instantly. His eyes shine with undisguised delight. He turns to me with the biggest smile he has ever given me. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you too, Auntie. If you're busy, Auntie, Ethan and I can go without you. I completely forgot that amusement parks are packed on weekends. I never went to one in my previous life. It was only seeing Luca being so well behaved while stuck inside, and then writing a scene set at an amusement park, that the idea even crossed my mind. Luca's parents died when he was 6. Claire wouldn't think to take him somewhere like that. I just can't stop feeling for the little guy. The next morning, Luca wakes up very early. He opens his eyes, turns to check outside. The sky outside is not fully light yet. Then he glances at the little alarm clock, that is his alone. Not yet 6. Claire usually gets up at 6 and wakes him then. He lies still, not daring to move too much in case he disturbs her. Luca thinks that sharing a room here is better than having an entire large bedroom all to himself in the villa. This is the first time he and Claire have been this close. He does feel close to her, but not to the point of no distance at all. Since coming here and living this way, he sometimes gets the feeling he's still living with his parents. He knows it's an illusion, he likes it anyway. You're awake? Luca startles, and turns to find Claire already sitting up looking at him. Her face has its usual lack of expression, but she's just woken up. There's a drowsy softness to her that makes her seem gentler somehow. Yeah, just now. He scrambles up quickly on his own, grabs his clothes and starts pulling them on. Claire makes no move to help, for children from the White family learn to be independent early. They step out of the bedroom, instinctively softening their footsteps, then head to the bathroom to wash up. The mirror above the sink reflects their faces side by side. The two of them share a certain resemblance, both equally good-looking, brushing their teeth with quick, vigorous strokes. Auntie, should we go wake Ethan? No need, he'll get up on his own. I usually wake at 6 as well, then start making breakfast. They would usually go back to the room to do their own things in the meantime. Auntie, Ethan works so hard cooking for us every day. Why don't we go out to eat today instead? Claire looks at Luca. You mean he works hard cooking for us every day, don't you? Well, I just think we're not so broke that we can't afford to eat out sometimes. Ethan doesn't have to cook every single day. This is his life. And while Luca is still turning that answer over in his head, Claire grabs him by the back of his collar and hauls him back to the room to read. They have barely stepped inside when I open my door and come out. I pull back every curtain. Outside, the sky is unmistakably clear and bright. A smile spreads across my face as I stretch out with a long, satisfied groan. For breakfast, I usually have the ingredients prepared the night before. There isn't much left to do. Half an hour later, I go to call them as usual. We eat breakfast together, then get ready to head out. But why are we carrying backpacks? Luca looks down at the small one hanging off his own back, then at the large one on mine, genuinely puzzled. Did you forget we're broke? Everything inside the amusement park is overpriced. It's all the same stuff you can buy anywhere. Of course, it's more sensible to bring it from outside. Don't worry, yours only has the lighter snacks in it. You won't get tired from carrying it. But how much more expensive can the snacks really be inside the park? No matter how much the price goes up, there is a limit. It's just snacks. How much more could they possibly charge? I unzip his backpack and pull out a bag of crackers. I bought these crackers at the supermarket for 10 yuan. Go check what they sell for inside the park later and see for yourself. Fine, I'll look. He sounds dismissive, but he turns around obediently all the same and lets me pack the snacks back into his bag. The three of us finally set off. Claire drives us there. On the way, with nothing better to do, I decide to tell Luca a story. My own web fiction is obviously out of the question for a third grader, so after thinking it over, I settle on a fairy tale. I go with Cinderella, a classic story and not a particularly long one. By the time I finish, barely 10 minutes have passed. Luca appears to have listened attentively all the way through and very generously offers his verdict. Your pronunciation is pretty good, Ethan. I don't know whether to laugh or groan. Did you actually listen to the story? I know Cinderella is a classic, you've probably heard it or seen it before, but Confucius said that reviewing what is old brings new understanding. You should have gotten something new out of it. You're right, but I've already thought about this story many times. There's nothing new left to think about. The girls in my class all get emotional over the romance between Cinderella and the prince, but thanks to my auntie's guidance, I've come to understand that even as a poor girl, Cinderella was still the daughter of a count. Marrying a prince was actually a perfectly suitable match. So really, it's just a love story between two equally matched people who go through hardship and end up happy in the end. I let out a small amused laugh. Alright then, tell me, if you were Cinderella living in that household, what would you do? Would you go on enduring your stepmother's cruelty with gentle patience, or find a way to complain to your father or fight back yourself? Going to the father is definitely useless. If her father actually cared about her, Cinderella wouldn't have been suffering for so long in the first place. Fighting back herself won't work well either. If it's too obvious, showing disrespect to elders, her reputation would be ruined and no one would marry her. She can't run away either. A girl who runs away from home loses her reputation all the same and ends up unable to marry. So the only thing she can truly do is endure. You're young, but your thinking is clear. So in your view, Cinderella's fate was sealed from the very beginning? Of course not. Even though enduring seems like the only thing she can do, there is actually quite a lot she could do. Take reputation, for example. Treating elders badly is wrong, But a stepmother treating her stepdaughter that badly is equally wrong. And the stepmother has 2 daughters of her own to think about. She had better consider whether her own daughters will find anyone to marry if her reputation suffers. From the driver's seat, Claire glances at the 2 of us in the rearview mirror. At Luca's words, she gives the smallest, barely perceptible nod. I'm genuinely startled by the logic coming out of this 8-year-old boy. So what are you saying? Luca continues, just as calmly and methodically as before. Before long, the car pulls into the car park and comes smoothly to a stop. Luca is the first one out, leaping from the car, his excitement impossible to contain. I quickly get out and grab his hand, and give him careful instructions. This place is always crowded, and today it's especially packed. You're so cute, exactly the type that child traffickers love most, so you must hold either my hand or your aunt's at all times and stay close to us. If anything feels wrong, shout. Understood? Don't worry, Ethan, I'm not naive. I'll stay close to you and Auntie the whole time. I know I'm a child, I'm not as strong as an adult. If someone tried to carry me off, struggling wouldn't help. Our teacher told us all about it, so I won't go wandering off. Fair enough. The kid knows what he's doing. As adults, we can rest a little easier. Then the 3 of us make our way to the entrance together. Since I bought the tickets in advance, we just need to go and print them. Compared to the long line of people snaking away from the ticket counter, we have it considerably easier. Once we're through the gates, it is bustling and lively inside. Claire and I are the kind of people who attract attention just by standing in a crowd. And sure enough, when we walks in, we draw eyes from all directions. Some people look like they want to come over and talk, but the moment they notice Luca being held by each of our hands, they think better of it and stop. Look at that young couple over there with the kid, they're absolutely stunning. At first glance, I thought they were celebrities. What a shame they're both taken. Otherwise, I might have gone over to say something. I just want to know, do all the good-looking men go for beautiful women? So someone like me who isn't particularly pretty just can't find a handsome guy? It hurts. Are you seriously still on about that? All I want to say is that the little boy they have with them is absolutely adorable, and he looks so well-mannered too. I hope I can have a son like that someday. Honey, wake up. Neither you nor your husband are anywhere near that level of good-looking. You're still hoping for a child with those looks? I desperately want to laugh listening to them. But it's a shame Luca isn't actually my child, or I'd be laughing even harder. Ethan, what should we go on first? Depends on what you want to do. I think the roller coaster and the bumper cars both sound fun. Are you interested in either of those? I've never been to an amusement park myself, so the only rides I actually know about are a handful. Luca hesitates for a moment, glances at the roller coaster track in the distance, then makes up his mind. Let's go on the roller coaster first then. Alright, roller coaster first, bumper cars after. There is quite a crowd at the roller coaster, either adults with children or couples. Without waiting for Claire, I head over on my own initiative and join the back of the queue. Waving to Luca and Claire, I'll queue up here. If you get tired, go rest on the side. The people around us exchange glances. A woman nearby is practically green with envy as she says to her boyfriend, a guy that good looking is actually willing to queue up and let his wife and child go rest on the side. That is just unbearably enviable. What's the matter? Do you have a problem with how things are right now? All you see is a handsome man queuing, but you're not looking at how beautiful his wife is, and everything she's wearing is designer. 50,000 yuan at minimum, head to toe. If you had that kind of money, you could hire someone to queue for you too. That guy is either not very bright, or he's low on the totem pole at home. If I had his looks, I would never end up with a woman who doesn't love me like that. The man had carelessly let his true thoughts slip out, and earned himself a sharp kick to the leg from his girlfriend. What did you just say? Go ahead and say it again, I dare you. No, I was just talking nonsense, it was a joke. Someone with a character as good as yours could never do something so tasteless. Luca tugs at Claire's sleeve. He had caught every word and he refuses to believe his aunt didn't. Is it really okay to make Ethan queue by himself? Hasn't your teacher told you about gender equality? He queues for this one. After that, we each take turns, including you. Luca breathes a sigh of relief. So it isn't about squeezing Ethan for his labor. He used to dislike Ethan, but that has changed now. If it were the original Ethan, Luca wouldn't have cared less how Claire treated him. But this Ethan, if Claire were to be hard on him, Luca would actually feel bad about it. The Ethan of today is a genuinely good person. The women standing nearby, some married, some not, drift into a conversation about something entirely unrelated. Luca has no interest in listening to them ramble on, so he pulls Claire over to sit down nearby. Since Ethan isn't being made to queue all day, there's no need for him to feel uneasy about it. Everyone will take their turn soon enough. After waiting in line for a bit, our turn comes quickly enough. Luca naturally sits in the middle, with me on one side and Claire on the other. Even after we've settled into our seats, people keep craning their necks to look at us, which makes me quite uncomfortable. But I glance sideways and there is Claire, sitting on the roller coaster as if she were sitting in an office, every bit as composed and elegant as ever, completely unaffected as though none of this touches her at all. I look over at Luca, and he is paying absolutely no attention to anyone around him, blinking his big eyes happily as he checks and rechecks his own safety harness. He even remembers to remind me, Ethan, check that your straps are secured properly. Don't be careless. I check everything over, all good, don't worry. Then I look over at Claire again. She is sitting there with complete composure, as though none of this matters to her in the slightest. Suddenly I find myself very curious, on something as thrilling as a roller coaster. Would Claire actually react like a normal person? Or would she manage to stay completely unmoved even on this? I make up my mind to watch her carefully. So from the moment the roller coaster starts moving, I keep one eye on Claire at all times. At first the roller coaster moves slowly, climbing the track bit by bit. As the highest point comes into view, my heart climbs right along with it. The moment of truth is approaching. In the split second before it reaches the very top, Claire finally condescends to part her hands and grip the safety bar. But her expression does not change in the slightest. She continues looking straight ahead, exactly as before. The next second, the car plunges down from the peak, faster and faster. My tolerance turns out to be decent enough, not to the point of being unbearable. Luca is nothing but excited from start to finish, not a trace of fear. All around us, screams ring out, some thrilled, some terrified. Claire alone remains completely calm, even as the wind whips her hair into disarray. Her only reaction is a slight furrow of her brow, nothing more, as if she were not on a roller coaster at all. I feel the wind slamming into my face, and my body lurching about, almost beyond control, and I look at the woman beside me, who even as the roller coaster sways violently from side to side and does not change her expression one bit, I can't help muttering to myself inwardly, she really can stay exactly as calm as she is in everyday life. What's even the point of riding a roller coaster like that? The ride isn't long, all told just a few minutes. As the car gradually slows to a stop, and the screams around us fade away, Luca's face is still flushed with excitement. I look over at Claire. Even with her hair slightly disheveled, it does nothing to diminish her presence. That was amazing, wasn't it, Ethan? Last time I came I was actually a little scared, but this time I wasn't scared at all. I think I'm incredibly brave. The moment his feet touch solid ground, Luca grabs my arm and announces excitedly. Though the poor kid wobbles as he walks and nearly topples over, I quickly steady him while not daring to move too much myself. Yes, Luca is incredibly brave, only 8 years old and completely fearless on a roller coaster. Far braver than I am. When I rode one in middle school, I was so scared I actually cried. There was a roller coaster installed in a park near my home, and I happened to have a rare holiday. My parents, who were also free that day, took me to try it. For the entire ride, I couldn't bring myself to open my eyes. And even so, when I got off, I sat straight down on the ground and cried. I was young, I'd never experienced anything that thrilling. It was a lot for a kid to handle. You really were a coward. I didn't cry even when I rode it before I was 6. Don't worry, if you're ever scared of anything in the future, just hold on to me. With me by your side, you don't need to be afraid. Alright, thank you in advance, Luca. What a little angel. Words this warm paired with that adorable little face. My heart nearly melts on the spot. Which one do we go on next? Bumper cars. Right, bumper cars it is. Ethan wants to play. Wait, hold on, when did I say I wanted to play bumper cars? I'm genuinely confused. I never said I wanted to play, I was only making a suggestion. If you didn't want to play, why did you suggest it? Adults can play bumper cars too. The truth is I really don't want to play bumper cars. I only suggested it because I couldn't think of any other rides on the spot. I've never been to an amusement park before. But before I even have a chance to explain, Claire has already taken hold of Luca's other hand and started walking forward. Luca moves with her, which gives me a sharp tug forward as well. These two simply do not believe that I don't want to play bumper cars. They haven't given me a single chance to explain. Honestly, if I were to insist right now that I don't want to play bumper cars, would these two think I was just trying to save face? I think it over for 2 minutes and arrive at a very definite conclusion. Whether I want to or not, I am playing bumper cars today. The crowd at the bumper cars is noticeably smaller than at the roller coaster, so Claire sends Luca to queue up. The moment he joins the queue, he draws a shower of starry-eyed looks. Nearby, a little girl has been crying non-stop, her father completely unable to calm her down. But the moment she catches sight of Luca, her crying cuts off instantly. She wriggles free of her father's arms and darts straight over to Luca's side. With everyone watching, the little girl grabs Luca's hand without a hint of shyness. She blinks at him with wide, innocent eyes and says sweetly, "Can we play together, big brother?" The little girl looks to be about 5, barely reaching Luca's shoulder. "Hey, no more crying. We're both here to play bumper cars, right? Of course we can play together. There are plenty of cars in there." "Yeah, we'll play together. Daddy, Mommy, I want to play with big brother. I like him." "Alright then, Daddy, we'll go queue up for both of you." I watch the little girl holding Luca's hand, chattering away non-stop. Luca wears a patient, reassuring smile, occasionally responding with a sound or a nod. The two little ones chat away happily. Knowing how to keep a girl happy at that age, what is he going to be like when he grows up? That little girl is very cute. It's not that, it's that Chen is well-mannered. Haven't you noticed how utterly uninteresting her topics are? Things like, my doll has really big eyes and my parents just took me to see a film. Some of what she says doesn't even follow logically, only our Luca has the patience to keep up with her. It's practically like he is making the girl happy. Honestly, no boy is actually interested in topics like these. You're right, he is keeping the girl happy. Within 2 minutes, another boy wanders over toward Luca and the little girl, trying to get into the conversation. The little girl wrinkles her nose with obvious distaste and turns away, paying him no attention at all, talking only to Luca. Luca gives the boy a polite nod, then goes right back to keeping the little girl entertained, with absolutely no intention of pulling the boy into the conversation. The little boy seems to sense that he is not welcome, and trudges back to where his parents are standing, looking dejected. Alright, fair enough, he is definitely keeping the girl happy. When our turn finally comes, Luca coaxes the little girl back to her parents. Then without a second glance back, he takes hold of me and Claire, and heads briskly over to register. We get into the bumper cars efficiently and get straight to it. From the way Luca drives, there is absolutely no indication that he has any intention of waiting for the little girl to play with him. The best thing about bumper cars is being able to crash into whoever you like. My driving skills are nothing special, but here it doesn't matter at all. The whole point is to crash. Luca keeps ramming into other cars around him with gleeful abandon, noticing how beautiful Claire is. Some people deliberately aim for her car and try to talk to her as they do it, but Claire drives her bumper car, as though she is practicing her driving technique, perfectly evading every car around her every single time, not giving anyone the slightest chance to make contact. I watch in silent amazement. Once Claire realizes people are deliberately targeting her, she starts actively trying to avoid them. The people trying to crash into her can't even graze her bumper, while Claire sends all of them spinning off in disarray, so they redirect their efforts toward me and Luca. In the end, Claire deliberately creates an opening to draw them away from us. At last, the bumper car session comes to an end. I drive my car over to the collection point the moment the attendant calls us, stepping out without a shred of reluctance. I never want to play bumper cars again for the rest of my life. Luca gets out fuming as well, and the moment he is off he grabs me and starts venting. Those people are absolutely shameless, we don't even know them, and they kept targeting us non-stop. And not just light taps either, they were really going for it. My head is still aching from the hits. I was actually trying to come rescue you at one point, but I got knocked sideways by them before I could. And then a whole bunch of smaller kids started charging at me from behind. The more I got hit, the more I got pushed off course. I'm absolutely furious. It's not that bad. It's mainly because you're so cute. Just like that little girl earlier, she liked you and wanted to play with you. The kids in the cars probably liked you too. That's why they kept crashing into you. They just wanted to play. And the ones who crashed into you, was that because you're good looking too? Well, you are pretty handsome, I'll give you that. But your driving really is terrible. My auntie managed to dodge an entire mob of people, and she actually came to your rescue at the end, getting you out of that situation where everyone was piling on you. At the thought of what Claire had just done, Luca grabs her hand without another word, looking up at her with pure admiration. Auntie, you're amazing, will you teach me? There were so many people trying to hit you just now and not a single one managed it. Thank you. I offer my thanks to Claire. She gives me a nod, then turns to Luca without any softening. You're young and you're short now. Your feet can't even reach the pedals properly, so don't overthink it. Focus on eating more and growing taller first. In this life there are some things someone simply cannot control. Height is one of them. Luca deflates instantly. His height is perfectly respectable for his class, but he is still a child. How can he possibly be compared to an adult? Don't worry about it. When you grow up, you'll definitely be even better than your aunt. I'm sure of it. But for now, try having an extra glass of milk before bed each night. I'll make sure it's ready for you. Milk helps you grow taller. Even if you can't match an adult's height just yet, at least aim to be the tallest among kids your own age. Deal. So what are we going on next? I'm starting to regret not looking up a guide before we came. While I'm still thinking it over, a little boy passing by tugs his parent's hand and bounces with excitement. The pirate ship! I'm going on the pirate ship! I immediately turn to Luca. Do you want to go on the pirate ship too? Sure, I'm up for anything. I take out the map. The pirate ship is just up ahead, not far at all. Let's go then. By the time we reach the pirate ship, the previous group is just getting off and the next group is boarding. We've timed it perfectly, though given our position, in the queue, we end up with seats right at the edge, which means the swinging will almost certainly be more intense for us. Luca is beside himself with excitement as always, and Claire is composed as always. My heart is starting to feel uneasy. I have never been on one of these things. In television dramas, whenever the main character gets one, they always come off completely sick and green in the face. I may only be a minor character in this world, but motion sickness doesn't discriminate. Ethan, why are you gripping my hand so tight? It kind of hurts. Oh, sorry, I'm just a little excited. I'm too embarrassed to admit I'm nervous, so I just say I'm excited. When I let go and look, Luca's hand has gone slightly red. My heart sinks immediately. Are you alright? Does it hurt much? I'm fine, it's nothing, but you really don't need to be that excited. Switch places with him, Claire suddenly says. Luca and I both look up, puzzled. Why? To balance the weight. Luca and I both look toward the pirate ship. The other passengers are all seated on the left side, with adults on the right and children in the middle. At a glance, the weight distribution does look noticeably uneven compared to the right side. Alright then. Luca stands up and we swap places. Now I am in the middle, with Luca on my right and Claire on my left. I have barely finished securing my harness, when Claire takes hold of my left hand, and Luca promptly takes hold of my right, both of them holding my hands at the same time. It gives me the feeling of being protected by them. It is genuinely touching. The pirate ship starts to move, swinging wider and wider. Many people around us have already started screaming, but to my relief, it is far better than I had imagined. It is thrilling, but not terrifying. I think I'll manage to keep my breakfast. As I suspected, background characters don't get the delicate constitution of a main character. The pirate ship swings for a while, then gradually slows. I feel Claire's grip on my hand loosen slightly. When the ship finally comes to a complete stop, both hands release mine at the same time. Ethan, you were so brave. You didn't get sick and you didn't cry. Much better than I expected. I think to myself, I was only a little anxious at the start. It wasn't real fear, but that's hardly something I can say out loud, so I reply, well, I am an adult after all, and you were better than I expected too. You did a good job. Plenty of adults are still cowards. Like that person over there, for instance, Luca says, pointing toward a woman by the rubbish bin bent over a plastic bag and being violently sick. See, she's really in a bad way. I look in the direction he is pointing. The woman is actually quite beautiful. Even in the act of being sick, she maintains a certain composure, and remarkably, her natural elegance seems entirely undiminished. The attendants nearby hurry over to check on her. The woman lifts her head slightly. I catch a glimpse of her face, and there is something oddly familiar about her, but no matter how hard I think, I cannot place where I've seen her before. Don't go pointing at others, and don't comment on strangers. Claire presses Luca's hand down, her tone carrying a gentle note of correction. Luca immediately withdraws his hand and nods obediently. Never mind other people, let's go. It's been over 2 hours. Are you hungry or thirsty? I unzip Luca's backpack and hand it to him, gesturing for him to pick whatever he wants. Then I take off my own bag, unzip it, and pull out a small carton of children's milk to give him. Thank you, Ethan. Make sure you and Auntie have something too. Eating snacks in front of Claire and asking her to join feels like a significant challenge. I'm still hesitating. When Claire reaches over and takes both bags from my hands. What do you want? She doesn't say a word about the snacks. I'm a little surprised. Maybe it's because we're out having fun today. Either way, there is the chance. I should take it. I pull out crackers and chips and also grab a bottle of cola. I just want junk food. There's nothing to be done about it. Claire glances at what's in my hands and says nothing. When Luca opens his mouth to say something, she catches it with a single look and successfully puts his "I want cola too" to death before it can be born. As I eat, I notice that Claire hasn't touched a single thing. I feel awkward about it and finally ask, would you like to have some too? Honestly, snacks aren't so bad, and all the additives are within the approved safety limits. Besides, since you never eat them normally, having a little once in a while won't do any harm. It's not as dramatic as all that. You eat. Claire doesn't refuse outright, but the meaning is perfectly clear. I eat my own then, but I try once more. Would you at least like some water? I brought mineral water. Get a different one next time. Remember to buy the same brand of bottled water as before. Okay. I sigh inwardly, at a loss for words. The wealthy heiress is broke and still drinking designer water. I genuinely wonder what the difference could possibly be between one mineral water and another. Does water that costs several dozen yuan actually taste better than water that costs 2 or 3? It's all mineral water in the end. After resting for a short while, Luca decides he wants to watch a film. We make our way toward the cinema area. Luca chatters non-stop the whole way. Last time I came, we were supposed to see a film, but my parents were in a rush and we never made it. I've always wanted to see how the animation here compares to a regular cinema. Today I finally get the chance. My classmates say the films here are really good. I'm genuinely curious how much of a difference there could be, but honestly I suspect it's just a matter of mindset. This kid is going to be disappointed, I think. Shaking my head internally. The trouble with being too clever is that nothing surprises him anymore, because he has already anticipated everything. As expected, at first Luca is quite excited going in. He's in good spirits as we enter, but after a short while he is completely indifferent, tugging at me and Claire to leave. Once outside, he doesn't stop complaining. This film is barely any different from what you'd see anywhere else, and to think I was actually looking forward to it. It's all a lie. My classmate definitely tricked me into wasting my time. I can't stand it. I'll deal with him when I get back to school. You can't put it quite like that. Your classmate genuinely thought it was really good. Different people like different things. I'm really worried he'll confront that classmate, only for his classmate to say something like, watching it with my parents made it really special, which would just be rubbing salt straight into Luca's wound. I suppose. A limited perspective is a limited perspective. If this counts as good, that says something. Claire gives him a sharp knock on the head. Watch what you say. Talking about people behind their backs is very rude. I see. He rubs the back of his head. The contemptuous look disappears and he is back to being the sweet, innocent little boy he appears to be, except that his eyes have a slightly odd look to them. What are you thinking about? Oh, nothing. I was just thinking, someone who finds a film like that impressive probably hasn't been exposed to very much in life. I stare at him, completely dumbfounded. In less than 3 seconds, with nothing more than a knock on the head from Claire, this child has spontaneously figured out how to deliver a veiled dig in a way that sounds perfectly polite. Is this actually okay? I turn stiffly to look at Claire, who appears entirely unaware, and gives Luca a pat on the head that carries a distinct air of approval. Wait, hold on. Is this really a healthy way to raise a child? Luca clearly knows this kind of comment makes the other child look bad to everyone around him, while leaving said child with absolutely no way to argue back. He did it deliberately, didn't he? Don't worry, Ethan. I'm a good kid who gets along well with my classmates. I manage a smile. We have more or less done everything the amusement park has to offer. I check the time, it is already past 11. It'll be noon soon. Should we go get something to eat? I'm not particularly hungry, but we should eat properly. We can't survive on snacks alone. I want to go to a fast food place. I can understand other kids wanting that. You're someone who used to eat proper food every day. How do you like that kind of thing too? I'm genuinely embarrassed. I put so much care into cooking every day, and this little guy still wants fast food. Claire isn't going to think I phone it in when she's not around, is she? I just want to try it. The atmosphere there is different from other places. Even if I eat good food every day, that doesn't mean I can't mix it up once in a while. Auntie, just let me have it this once. One time won't hurt. Even junk food eaten once in a while won't make me sick. And besides, just let me be happy today. Claire stands there, tall and elegant as ever. I think Luca has a certain kind of nerve, because if it were me, I could never bring myself to tug at someone like Claire's arm and beg. In the end, Claire agrees. She takes Luca to the fast food place and asks whether I want the same or would prefer something else. Either works for me. I haven't had fast food in ages. It genuinely doesn't matter to me, and now that I think about it, it has been a long time since I ate fast food. I'm actually a little in the mood for it. Might as well indulge today, together with Luca. Speaking of which, I had almost forgotten. I had made a deal with Luca earlier. Luca, weren't you going to go check the prices inside? Oh, right. He remembers. We really had agreed to that before we left. He immediately lets go of our hands and runs over to one of the nearby shops. I follow quickly, too many people around to let him go alone. When Luca comes back out of the shop, his face is written over with shock and disbelief. The price of a single drink is literally double? That is outrageous. That defies all logic. It's not illogical, it's just how it works. Tourist attractions are even worse. A roasted corn cob that costs 4 yuan anywhere else can go for 10 yuan at a tourist spot. Why? Because it's a one-time transaction. Tourists come, they spend, they leave. They're not coming back for a second visit. And most of the people who end up buying food there are those who didn't bring anything with them. When you're hungry enough, you stop caring about the price. Moreover, you can afford it, so you just buy it. And there's the cost factor. Oh yes, and the cost factor your aunt mentioned. The corn itself isn't expensive, and even roasting it doesn't add much. But to bring the corn inside, vendors have to pay extra fees to the management of the attraction. Those fees get passed on to the visitors, which is why the price ends up so high. So the one making the most money must be the owner of the attraction. After all, they just have to build the place, hire some people to manage it, and the money comes in. And with the ticket prices, on top of that, it adds up to quite a lot. This is what comes of growing up surrounded by business. The speed of that thinking is hard not to admire. When I think back to being Luca's age, I was probably just playing around without a care in the world. But then you have to think about how to get the government to grant you the land in the first place, and how to raise enough money to actually build the attraction. And then there's finding the right people to manage it, and maintaining it afterward. All of that needs to be thought through carefully. That is a bit complicated, but that's fine, I'm still young. By the time I grow up, I'll definitely have figured it all out. I'll find a way then. If only it were that simple. I shake my head inwardly. Claire had only said it offhandedly, to help Luca understand that things aren't as straightforward as they seem. When it actually comes to doing it, the difficulties would be unimaginable. Even someone as capable as Claire has failed. Does that mean she didn't understand the principles? Clearly, knowing how something works doesn't necessarily mean you can make it work. There are too many external factors. Most of the time, it simply isn't up to you. Things like the inexplicable luck that seems to follow main characters. Forces that lie entirely outside the realm of reason. Back home, everything returns to its normal rhythm. My life is very structured. I get up on time and make meals, tidy up the apartment, then sit down to write. After lunch, once everything is cleared up, I take a nap. I wake up in the afternoon and get back to writing, occasionally doing research or preparing design sketches for future freelance work. Evenings are the same. After dinner, I do some writing with the occasional browse through other websites. Sometimes I watch a drama to wind down. Beyond that, I make sure to set aside time for laundry and cleaning, regular grocery runs, and of course keeping up with exercise to stay in shape. When Luca needs it, I take him out from time to time, to the museum, or the library, places like that to pass the time. Claire is busy almost every day. What she's busy with, I have no idea. She only appears at breakfast and dinner. In the evening, she checks in on what Luca has been doing throughout the day. She hasn't said anything about me taking him out, so I take it as her tacit acceptance of how things are. But peaceful as things are, there are still matters that need to be resolved. So one morning at breakfast, I bring up the housing question again. Luca looks over at Claire. Bedtime has been a source of quiet suffering for him. When sharing a bed with Claire, he doesn't dare move around. He really does want a room of his own where he can toss and turn to his heart's content at night. I've already found a house. We can move in next week. As for buying a house, there's a development that looks promising going on sale the week after. We can go and take a look then. Claire gives her answer. I finally feel a wave of relief. She hasn't forgotten about my situation after all. The following week, Claire does indeed tell me to start getting things together. It is time to move. Auntie, so I'll have my own room now? I want a bookshelf. The bed doesn't have to be big, just enough to sleep on. While waiting for the moving van, Luca's mouth doesn't stop for a second. Yes, I knew you were the best, Auntie. Ethan, we're moving to a bigger place. Are you happy? After that, since we are moving, the three of us, Luca, Claire and I, start sorting through what needs to be packed. Of course I'm happy. Why wouldn't I be? But if I'm honest, I don't feel much either way. It's not my place regardless. So where I live doesn't make much difference to me. Growing up, I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. As an only child, quietly and consistently spoiled by my parents without making a show of it. So I've never had any particular longing for a bigger place. If a person has never been without love, has never known real financial hardship, and isn't the type to be fiercely driven, they tend not to have any burning desire for material things. That's exactly what I am. Someone who on the surface seems ordinary, but who has in reality always lived a genuinely happy life. If I'm being completely honest, I actually find small apartments cozy and easy to manage. But coziness is one thing, and the practical reality is another. After all, I can't have Luca sharing a room with Claire indefinitely. I'm happy too. I'm going to earn money and buy so many books. There's not even a proper study here. I've been dying for ages. It turns out this is Luca's deepest grievance. The apartment is too small to fit anything. And since it's a rental, Claire hasn't been able to give him his own study like he had in the villa. In his free time, he has had nothing to do but watch childish cartoons, and he has nearly bored himself to death. But I've been seeing you watch cartoons all along. So you actually love reading? I only watch them because I had absolutely nothing else to do. I don't actually enjoy cartoons that childish, but the other students in my class do. And Auntie told me that a person can be clever, but when your position doesn't yet allow for it, you must never distance yourself too far from the people around you. Otherwise, when something happens, people will shut you out. Wow, Claire is really something else. Luca is still so young and she is already teaching him things this profound. What else did I say? Auntie, you also said to treat everything as though it is simply the natural way of things. Just now, I shouldn't have implied that another classmate was stupid just because I think I'm smarter. Even if that's what I think, I should convince myself that my classmates are all perfectly fine. If there were tea in my mouth right now, I would spit it straight out. A primary school kid is being taught things like this? I feel like I was an absolute fool when I was young. I didn't figure this out until high school, and I had to work it out for myself. Go to read it. Claire reaches into one of the packed boxes and pulls out a book at random. She hands it to Luca. Luca takes it obediently, doesn't even glance at the cover, and opens it to start reading. I sneak a look at the title. It's called The Art of Calculated Cunning. Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. An ordinary person like me had better keep their opinions to themselves. The moving van arrives quickly, but there isn't much to move. When it actually comes to sorting through everything, I realize that the vast majority of items in this apartment were bought by me, and most of them are everyday household supplies. It is Luca who finally can't stand it, and signals to Claire to say something to me. Only then do I let go of the basic essentials, things like cooking oil, salt, soy sauce, and vinegar. One thing to be grateful for, that the clothes that once took up nearly my entire bedroom have been sold off for the most part, which makes moving them a much simpler affair. The new apartment is in another complex not too far from this one, with better overall security and surroundings than before. Once inside, I find the layout is excellent too. Having worked in design, I do a lap of the space, and have to admit, Claire has picked an excellent place this time. The apartment has basic renovations done, and the style is my absolute favorite, minimalist. Black, white, gray, timeless and easy on the eyes no matter where you look. Even the furniture has been selected as a matching set. Best of all, the balcony has a swing, which fulfills a wish I didn't even know I had, to sit on a swing and read whenever I like. Wow, this place is so much better than before. I love it. I like it too. On the other side of the apartment, Claire moves with those long strides of hers, directing the movers to put everything in its proper place as she goes. She glances over at the two of us, who are both clearly satisfied, and for just a brief moment her eyes soften. Then just as quickly she turns back to directing the workers. About an hour later, the movers finish placing everything and head out. I dig out the cleaning cloths I had prepared in advance, and wave one at Luca. Luca, time to put in some effort for our new home. I'll wipe the tables and sweep, everything else is yours. No problem. I'll do the windows and mopping. What about me? Claire's sudden voice makes both of us freeze mid-coordination. Huh? Auntie, you want to help? That's really not necessary. The two of us are enough. We can manage. The idea of his aunt doing housework, it has never crossed his mind and he has never seen it happen. The very thought of it feels deeply wrong to him. Yes, we can handle it. You can go take care of your own things. In all this time, I have never once seen Claire do any of this. I have to admit, seeing her doing rough manual work would give me a genuine sense of guilt. I'll do the windows. You two take care of the rest. She surveys the tall balcony windows that stretch almost to the ceiling, and assigns herself the task without further discussion. Before I can say anything, she takes the other cloth from my hand. I feel her fingers brush against mine accidentally, and instinctively shiver. What's wrong? Are you cold? No, probably just a little too much internal heat from not drinking enough water lately. It's nothing. I'll just drink more water over the next couple of days. It's definitely not because she touched me. I'm not made of glass. Just eat fewer snacks. A blade flies through the air and lands straight in my chest, leaving my face visibly crestfallen. Hearing this, Luca watches the two of us, and once he confirms that Claire isn't paying attention to him, he makes a nimble dash straight for my bedroom. If he doesn't run now, that blade might just get redirected at him next. He still wants his snacks. I immediately deny it. I haven't been. What I get in return is Claire's back as she turns away. The rubbish bag gets changed every day, so where is all this rubbish coming from? I slap the back of my left hand with my right. How did I forget about that? But Claire leaves early and comes home late every day. She's so busy, and when she is home, she's in her room. How does she still find the time to notice the rubbish bag in the living room? From now on, fewer snacks and more water. Now get to work. Little does Luca know, while he is busy wiping the bedside table in the bedroom, has no idea that in one fleeting moment, I've just made a split-second decision to cut back on his snacks, all because of something his aunt said. If he had known, he probably wouldn't have chosen to disappear the moment he sensed trouble. After more than an hour of work, the apartment is finally in order. This includes the time I spent pretending to sweep, while quietly watching Claire's back. I'm certainly not going to admit that I'm planning to write Claire into my novel. Well, who told her to keep bringing up the snacks? Besides, there's no original version of this story in this world. Using someone like Claire, a real-life CEO, as the lead character would definitely be a massive hit. The bankruptcy part can stay out. I'll write her as she was before. Keep it grounded, it'll still be popular. Ethan, you've been looking at my aunt with a really strange expression today. I get it though, it's fine. My aunt definitely won't mind. You're husband and wife after all, nothing to be embarrassed about. It's only right that you like my aunt. It would be a problem if you didn't. Isn't that what being married is supposed to mean? Liking each other? Could this kid be any more adorable? It's a close call. I nearly burst out laughing. Claire, on her way to the bathroom with the cleaning cloth, happens to catch our conversation and pauses with a thoughtful expression. Then she lets her footsteps be heard again and walks on in. Inside, Luca and I snap our mouths shut instantly, as though nothing was said at all. Once the cleaning is done, I find I'm not as tired as I expected. I decide to cook at home anyway. There's a large supermarket nearby, bigger than the one near the old place. Shopping will definitely be easier from now on. For now, I need to go in for a browse and pick up some vegetables and fruit. This time Luca comes along without any fuss. But then Claire says she wants to come too. I try to stop her. You really don't need to come. I can carry it all back myself. It's my first time going, so I won't be buying much. Just enough for today. I'll be back quickly. You've been working all afternoon. Go rest. If I don't come, how are you going to bring back snacks? Is this joke ever going to end? But I do want to buy snacks. There's nothing I can say to the wealthy heiress, so I let her come. In the end, I buy quite a lot of things, simmering quietly. Between the two of us, we carry back 3 large bags. Watching Claire carry shopping bags is a little painful, but who told her to keep commenting on my habits? All 3 of us sleep comfortably that first night. Claire says nothing about it, but truth be told, with Luca sleeping next to me, I'm a little uncomfortable too. Having always had my own room growing up, I'm not used to sharing a space with someone else. Even though Luca is well behaved and doesn't move around much, having an extra person in my space still puts me off. I've been busy all day, and I feel like I'm not tired, but I actually am. I finish washing up, lie down on the bed, close my eyes, and fall asleep immediately. A full, unbroken sleep right through to the following morning. Luca doesn't even need to be mentioned. With a bed all to himself, he can toss and turn however he pleases. Pure bliss. Over the following 2 days, all 3 of us feel the difference the new place has made. Then one day, Claire asked me to come with her to see that complex she told me about. It's finally on the market. I've been looking forward to this for so long. I'm finally going to have a place of my own in this world. Not that Claire hasn't been good to me, and Luca is genuinely adorable. And even without a clear-cut relationship between us, I do think of them as friends. But I simply don't feel like I belong to this world. Claire is a side character. Ethan was her husband, Luca is her nephew. Everything I have now has nothing to do with who I actually am. I'm nothing more than an outsider who wandered in, but a home changes that. With a home, I'll have a place in this world that is genuinely mine. Even if things with Claire eventually come to nothing, I'll have somewhere to go. I can keep writing, keep working as a freelancer. This would be my foundation, the ground I stand on. Of course, even without it, my writing income is enough to rent a place. It just wouldn't give me the same sense of security. The place Claire takes me to is a little further from our rented apartment. Property prices in this city are rising. There is no shortage of buyers. When we arrive, there is already a considerable crowd outside. But Claire doesn't take me through the crowd. She leads me straight through the staff entrance. She may be a fallen powerhouse, but when she appears, even without calling in any favors, people tend to show a degree of deference. The people here don't just show courtesy, they treat her like a VIP guest of the highest order. Following Claire, I experienced genuine VIP treatment for the first time. In the middle of a sales event this packed, we are taken directly to a private lounge. The decor is impeccably luxurious. The tea the staff serve is the kind I can tell is extraordinarily expensive just from the scent. Even someone like me who knows nothing about tea can tell that this is not cheap. We're just here to look at a property. Is all this really necessary? Do you know the owner here? This development is something Tina put together back then to silence her family. She won't be touching property again after this. Just pick whichever unit you like, pay the going rate, nothing more. Even if she developed it, coming in this way feels like taking advantage. Is that really alright? If it were Claire buying for herself, that would be one thing. But this is going into my name. Using privilege for my own benefit feels off. Besides, Tina has made it quite clear she doesn't particularly like me. The last time she came by, the way she looked at me at first, cold and dismissive, I saw it perfectly clearly. You'll pay the full price. She is just letting you have the pick of the units. They'll make their money either way. There's no difference to her. These 3 buildings have the best layouts and the best positions. Leave out the bottom 6 floors and the top 6, and choose whichever unit you like from what's left. Which one appeals to you? Alright, I'll stop overthinking it. She says to pick, so I'll pick. I figure I can always buy another unit later if needed, and then start looking at the floor plans properly. I may be an interior designer, but I know a thing or two about architecture, and these 3 buildings really are impressive. After going back and forth, I settle on a 3-bedroom, 2-living-room unit. If it's all done up and we still haven't divorced by then, the 3 of us could live there. And if we do divorce and the place is mine, 1 bedroom, 1 studio, 1 activity room. Perfect. Once the unit is chosen, it's time to see it in person. Claire leads me along with a staff member to the site. The surrounding facilities aren't fully completed yet, and the corridors are in a bit of disarray. Usually with property developments, you sell first and then build. Why did they build first and sell afterward? Because I told her as long as the build quality is good, it will sell. And since property prices keep rising, the longer you wait to sell, the higher the price. So that's it. No wonder she's a big shot who is deeply involved in large-scale construction. Not like me, a transmigrated fake intellectual. Her assessments come entirely from genuine expertise.